Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic butter spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca of Michigan Athletics. Making a change. Athletic Director Ward Manuel will step down at the end of the calendar year, with the school releasing a summary of an investigation into the culture of the athletic department, concluding the issues were not widespread. Manuel has been the Wolverines athletic director for over a decade, winning numerous national championships, also dealing with multiple NCAA and legal investigations. In the NBA, the Lakers are signing free agent forward Matisse Thybulle to a one-year, $3.3 million deal. Two-time All-Defensive Team member, shot 42% from three over the last two seasons, appearing in 45 total games. WNBA wing star Paige Beckers ruled out of tonight's game against the Liberty after a scary collision during last night's win over the Sparks. Team said she does not have a concussion and is not currently in the league's concussion protocol. Beckers averaging 21.6 assists and 4 rebounds per game this season.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We are at the Digital Drive, formerly known as Radio Row, SEC Football Media Days 2026. Fired up to be here, kicking off the week in Tampa, Florida. And we are so thankful to Parish Construction and Roofing, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Rev, and Relief Windows for making our coverage possible here all week. We have a ton to get to, including Mr. College Football Tony Barnhart will be here in about 15 minutes from right now. Our sit down with Oklahoma's new athletic director. That's coming up, as well as including a fun conversation with our friends Kelly in Vegas and Ariel Epstein, the prop queen, talk a little sports betting as well. We got a ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So Greg Sankey led off the day here at SEC Football Media Days, as he does every year, with sort of his state of the conference address from the commissioner. And his remarks were largely what you would expect. They were scripted. They went about 20 minutes, and he talked about all the things that you would expect he would talk about. And then they opened it up to questions, and there was one question in particular that has gotten the most attention today. And it was when Greg Sankey was asked point blank if the conversations about the SEC breaking away potentially were real. That was the word used, were real. And this is how he answered the question.
So they're real. People have talked about that. They've opined about the frustrations that bring them to the point of saying we should look at something significantly different. I do not believe that is a leverage point. I think that's just honest communication. Eddie, what I think is important is those comments represent a high level of frustration with the circumstance in which we find ourselves.
When he used, so it's important to note that the way that question was asked was if those conversations were real. That was part of the question. So his answer, I was sitting in the room 20 feet from him when he said it, that the answer, that those were real, that the conversations are real. And by the way, it's just worth noting that's rooted in the comments made by Kirby Smart and Georgia administrators, who will be here tomorrow, by the way. So you better believe Kirby's going to going to answer for that, or answer to, I shouldn't say answer for that, answer to that. But it's ultimately rooted in the frustration of the perception of the tail wagging the dog, right? The Protect College Sports Act is out there right now, and sometimes you may agree. Look, I'm not a legal expert or anything like that, or someone who, I'm not a congressional constitutional expert. You all know that. I talk about sports. But like when a piece of legislation gets introduced, you may agree with 90% of it, but there's 10% of the verbiage in there you disagree with, and so you don't throw your support behind it because of that 10% that you feel needs to be amended. But the way it can be painted is, well, you disagree with the totality, which is not necessarily the case. So I think Greg Sankey and everyone have been very clear to make that distinction. But I look at what was said today, and what they're very clear on really is a couple of components. Number one is pooling of media rights. That will always be a non-starter for the SEC. And I don't mean to go too deep into the weeds with something many people may not care about, but just understand on that Protect College Sports Act, it would allow for a pooling of media rights. And so instead of having like an SEC contract and a Big Ten contract, you would have like a college football contract. But the problem with that is the SEC, the big brands, get diluted. It brings the big brands down to bring the little brands up. So think like LSU will take less so Iowa State can get more, is maybe a simple way to put it. And so the SEC is not going to be okay with that because they've built their brand for 100 years and built this brand equity in their conference strategically in the way they moved, and all of it. And they don't want that to be to their detriment, nor should they. So that's one. And the other is the idea that it would prevent any type of conference realignment. Not to say that the SEC is looking to add more teams, but you don't want to be blocked off from the possibility of that happening potentially in the future. So the frustration baked in there is why you've heard some say, like Kirby say, well, we'll just break away and do our own thing. And I do believe, it's worth noting also, Greg Sankey said he would prefer those conversations stay on a Zoom call or behind closed doors and not necessarily make it to television and media. But it's such is life. And what happens now as there's so much, look, there's events like this where you've got 1,000 media members from around the conference and the country that are all talking about and asking these questions. And then the headline at ESPN today is going to be Sankey, SEC breakaway talk over college football bill real. Well, yes, I think that there is a real possibility that could happen if the Protect College Sports Act were to progress. But I think ultimately cooler heads prevail, and the collective of college football will recognize that college football is better whole instead of the SEC going and having its own league with its own schedule and its own national champion. Nobody wants to see that per se. And so I think we'll eventually get there. The other thing that was a giant talking point today and will be throughout this week is the 9-game SEC schedule and the future of the college football playoff. Here was Sankey this morning talking about this is 14, Muse, my apologies, about the ninth SEC game.
As it relates to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, we have heard about strength of schedule, strength of record. I think there were some references for strength of conference. We had what I'll call an unsatisfactory conversation with members of the College Football Playoff staff and some of their advisors in Destin. That's rehashing from a couple months ago. That's not a secret. And that's a reminder of that process needing to continually improve. So my confidence is that people will act with integrity. I do think we have questions about the understanding of the strength and rigor associated with competing in the Southeastern Conference.
An unsatisfactory conversation is the greatest way you could possibly put that. And look, Greg Sankey is quite adept at manipulating his words to make sure he doesn't say the wrong thing. He's fantastic. He's fantastic at what he does. That's why he's in the position he's in. And I should note, we begin tomorrow's show. So at this time tomorrow, the commissioner will be with us to start the show. So I'm very much looking forward to that conversation with Commissioner Sankey, as he's always very generous with his time. But the consensus from the coaches here is they love the 9th game. And I don't know if this is going to be the consensus all week, but the coaches today, they love the 9th game so long as it doesn't preclude them from gaining access to the college football playoff. Meaning, if you just added a 9th league game and you're not rewarded for playing the tougher schedule, in addition to the A4, the P4 non-conference game, then why did you just give yourself intentionally a more difficult schedule, more difficult path that you're not going to be rewarded for? So that's the point. And the one other thing is the future of the SEC championship game. These are the 3 big talking points today from Commissioner Sankey. Muse, if you would, this is number 16.
I think even the move to 12 has created pressure around championship games. And we've talked through the factors that support the pro list, and we've talked about some of the con list, if you will, the negatives that need to be considered. And we have some time. We will have a conference championship game the first Saturday in December of 2026. We have contracts and plans in place well beyond that, but we have time for consideration. And one of the factors for us is what will happen with that college football playoff.
It is very clear. It is very clear. People here, people associated with the conference, I don't mean media, because everyone has a different opinion, but I mean the people associated with the conference, do not want to get rid of the conference championship game. That is a large revenue generator. I believe, I did the math not long ago, the average benefit per school per year with the SEC championship game is somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 or $7 million per school per year. So it is a significant revenue generator, and there's a lot of appeal that goes along with that. My contention is, always has been, should be, like, that game is not necessary. The SEC went from its inception in the 30s until 1992 without a conference championship game and survived just fine. And I think without a conference championship game and an expanded playoff, it'll serve the SEC just fine as well. But the money has to make sense. So the 3 big things from the commissioner as he kicked off SEC Media Days today. We've got so much to do. I want to talk a ton about Oklahoma, who, after listening to OU today, I'm kind of shifting. I tell you often to come to this with some preconceived ideas, and then after hearing from 16 coaches and all these players and media, sometimes you can confirm or disconfirm ideas or maybe get new ideas. I'm going to tell you, I think there was a hard sell today on Oklahoma as a legitimate national championship contender. I do want to talk about them, and we'll do that coming up a bit later in the show. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Normally in studio, when we're in the Raising Cane studio, I got my Bud Light on set with me. Not here at Radio Row, so just pretend like I got a Bud Light can right here. Maybe drink a few delicious ice cold Bud Lights after the show. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All right, it is After Further Review. We're brought to you, we're sitting here on Radio Row. Our coverage all week is presented by Parish Construction and Roofing, Rev Fiber, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, and Relief Windows, title sponsor of our Monday shows all throughout the year. Anyway, we appreciate our great sponsors that make this possible. Okay, we'll now get a quick break. We'll come back. It's always our pleasure when we get the opportunity to visit with Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart. And he's always with us on behalf of the Dodd Trophy and the preseason Coach of the Year awards watch us. So I got to get Tony Barnhart's thoughts on Lane Kiffin, who, my goodness, yes, Lane Kiffin is a storyline here this week. If it's not one, it's 1A or 1B. It's right there when you walk the halls and everyone talking about Kiffin, and they cannot wait until Thursday when Lane Kiffin and the LSU circus shows up. So Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. I love telling you about our friends over at River City's 1 Hour Air, especially because at River City's 1 Hour Air, for 4 decades, they've treated people great. They work nights, holidays, and weekends, and don't charge you extra to come out nights, holidays, weekends. So, like right now, when you're talking about temps in the 90s, heat indexes north of 100 every single day, that oppressive heat that we know is coming every single year about this time, River City's 1 Hour Air can make sure that your AC keeps you comfortable throughout the warm weather months. So if you have an issue with your AC, give our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air a call. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or online at 1hourbr.com, ONE, 1hourbr.com. For River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Raising Cane's is raising $1 million on National Chicken Finger Day for Chuck's charity, Kickstart Kids. Join us July 27th and help us continue Chuck Norris's legacy.
Chuck was a personal friend of Todd and the brand, and I know this would have meant the world to him. luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Here on the Gulf Coast, a wave says a lot. It says hello. It says thanks. It says we care. Shouldn't banking feel the same way? A friendly wave, a familiar face, backed by all the convenient tools you need to make banking a breeze. We're Gulf Coast Bank and Trust. Give us a wave and coast into better banking.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
It's a rite of passage here. You don't come to SEC Media Days without talking to Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart, who always joins us on behalf of the Dodd Trophy. Sir, it's a pleasure. Thank you for the time.
That's good to be with you.
Oh, wait, let me get your mic turned up right there. I think that'll do.
There we go.
It's an essential part of the equation. You got to turn the mic on. My apologies. I'm sorry for that.
No, Matt, it's good to be back to know that college football season is coming. And yes, do we have some problems with college football away from the field? Yes, we do. But you know what? Once the games start, people don't care.
I kind of contend that despite all the issues, that the product on the field has never been better with the result of guys staying longer and better players being in and moving up.
That's exactly right. The game, with all the issues that we've got off the field, the game we watch every Saturday is better than it's ever been. The quality of play, you mentioned the fact that guys stay longer. You've got more veteran teams out there. So, yeah, it's a great, great game. We just have to find a way to give it some guidance, to give it guardrails, whatever you want to call it, okay? College football needs some structure because what we have now, while entertaining, is not sustainable, and that's the key.
I know last year we talked about your book, Mr. College Football, 50 Years of SEC Memories, and that's coming out this spring, which we were talking off air. I can't wait for that book to drop. But can you give me a comp in the last half century, anything, any period, any time that felt maybe as volatile as this one? Because sometimes, history is a great predictor of the future.
Right.
And can you remember anything that felt volatile?
Not like this, because there were some feuds in college football and college athletics and all that, but it hasn't been anything that undermines the basic structure of the game. Now, what happened is the players are finally in a position where they have a chance to benefit financially from what they do. That has been the biggest change because all this other stuff has sort of grown from that. And but no, I don't know that we've been through a situation like this that makes us this vulnerable.
Look, it's players moving, but it's also coaches moving, and there was nothing more seismic in college football than Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss for LSU. You're here on behalf of the Dodd Trophy and the preseason Dodd Trophy watch list. Lane Kiffin certainly is going to be on that list.
Sure.
Let me just ask the first one open-ended. What do you think about Kiffin leaving Ole Miss for LSU?
You know, I had no problem with it, but you can't leave and think you're going to coach the team.
Agreed.
To me, that's where the mistake was made. Everybody has a right to leave and to get the best situation for themselves. If that's your choice. I mean, personally, I don't think I would leave a team that has a chance to win a national championship.
Yeah.
But I understood that the pressure must have been pretty immense on Lane. But what you can't do is turn around and say, "Oh, that's my team." Well, no, that's not your team, coach. That's LSU's team.
I've said, look, I agree with you completely. I said to LSU fans, like, you could not imagine a scenario if the LSU coach left for, say, Bama or Georgia or Ohio State. They're not going to keep coaching LSU through the playoff. There's no reality where it happened. So Ole Miss did the right thing there. It was a clumsy exit. But how do you think Lane fits in at LSU, especially year one?
Here's the thing that I'm wondering about. I don't follow gambling, but somebody told me that the over and under on LSU and wins is 8.5. Is that right?
That's it.
That blows my, because I talked to an LSU friend of mine, and I said, that ain't going to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, that ain't going to get it. And you know, for Lane, that's a playoff roster. They've got the talent to be a playoff team. So, yeah, we'll see. But I think they're going to have a good season, but I think they've got to make the playoffs. Now, understand, Matt, I'm not saying he's going to get fired.
Of course.
But this is what I call a quality of life situation, okay? The quality of your life is not going to be nearly as good as it would have been.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see on that one.
The Lane Kiffin's quality of life now is pretty great. He is.
So it would seem.
Yes. He is the toast of the town. He does his hot yoga every morning. He goes to the restaurants, and he's been in Mardi Gras parades, and boy, they love him. And they're going to lose a game eventually, and I'll be fascinated to see what it looks like.
It reacts. You know, they got to play. Ole Miss and LSU. I mean, somebody asked me, so how intense could that game get? I said, well, on the intensity meter, if they don't turn over any buses, I think they'll be okay.
You know what? I'm glad you went there, because that was another one of my notes I wanted to ask you. So the most animus I've ever seen was the first time Nick Saban came back to Baton Rouge in 2008.
Yep.
It was in the stadium. It was sort of an emotional bloodletting that day.
Right.
And Nick didn't leave LSU for Alabama. He went to the NFL, was gone for 2 years, and then went to Alabama. And it was
that.
I'm
it
like,
didn't matter.
This, though, is like 8 months later.
Oh, yeah.
Going straight into the belly of the beast where you left for the playoff. Like, is there anything? We've seen coaches within the conference. Oh, look, I mean, Tommy Tuberville left Ole Miss for Auburn, moved within the league. We've seen this. Anything you can remember that's what's the closest thing to this?
I don't know that we've had anything quite like this. You mentioned Tommy Tuberville leaving. That was an emotional issue, but this is unusual. This is totally unusual for Lane, and I think part of it is the fact that it's Lane. I mean, Lane is a lightning rod when it comes to every topic you can name, and I think that was a big part of what they're dealing with here.
Do you think Lane will win a national championship at LSU?
Yes, I do. I think, Matt, you and I could win a national championship at LSU.
So why didn't Brian Kelly do it?
Wasn't a fit.
Yeah, it's wild.
I don't care how good you are, but if it's not a fit, it's not a fit. And I thought he would do well there.
Yeah.
The leading winner all time at Notre Dame, 300. But it just did not work out. I do think. Well, let's look at it. Does LSU have all the components that you need to win a national championship? Do they have a good fan base? Yes. Do they have the money? Yes. Do they have the talent? Do they recruit well? Yes. Do they have the facilities? Yes. Everything is there to win a national championship. But let's don't go 8-4 the first year. Let's don't tempt fate. Okay. Don't. Oh gosh.
8-4. It will not be a fun fall for me, Tony. It was this school year, LSU had a losing record in football, men's basketball, and baseball. That hadn't happened in the same school year since 1976.
Wow.
So it's been 50, literally not my lifetime. In 50 years, I've never seen a season like this. So I need a rebound. it gets tiring,
well,
man.
Make sure you don't overlook Clemson or do something silly like that. It's because Clemson's on their own redemption tour as it is.
They'll be fascinating to see. I'm sure is Dabo on the Dodd watch list as well?
I have not looked at it, but
Dylan's shaking his head saying
Dylan said no.
No.
Okay.
How about that? What do you think about Dabo not being on the watch list?
Well, Dabo really fits the criteria, and I'll have to deal with my friends and see if I can get that changed.
We'll see. Let's talk a little bit about, I know you're here on behalf of the Dodd Trophy, and why it's so important to honor Coach Dodd and be a part of this award.
Coaches you talk to, when you tell them about the Dodd, that's the award that they want, because Coach Dodd was held in such high esteem. It's a different kind of award. It rewards academics, it rewards public service, and being a part of the Dodd Trophy has been a lot of fun. 2 years ago, we presented it to Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, and Dodd Trophy, we don't make you come to Atlanta to give you the trophy. We go to where you are. We went to Notre Dame and had a wonderful dinner and presented him with the award. He was very, very grateful, very, very humble. But it's a different kind of award. I get asked to put my name on a number of things, but this is what I choose to put my name on, and I'm very pleased to have my name associated with it.
Well, it's always fun to be able to have this conversation and talk a little college football when we get here into July, and we're easing toward the start of the season. Of course, you can go to doddtrophy.com if you want to learn more. DODD, doddtrophy.com if you want to learn more. The book, Mr. College Football, 50 Years of SEC Memories, that will be released coming up this spring, so spring after this coming football season. I know that's a labor of love. What I always ask authors this or a producer if they're doing a film. Everything can't make it into the book.
Right.
Something gets left on the cutting room floor.
Right.
What got left on the cutting room floor through the editing process that you maybe wish had made it?
I think I wanted to expand some of the stories that I tell on Georgia, but there were so many. I mean, I went to Georgia. I had a great relationship with Coach Vince Dooley. There's some people at Georgia who took me under their wing when I was a student there, when I didn't know what I was doing. A guy like Claude Felton, Lauren Smith, and Dan McGill, who's a legend among the Georgia Bulldogs. I wish I could have put some more of that in there. Of course, when my friends read it, they'll say I put too much Georgia stuff in it. So that is fine. But it's the basic thing is you got to structure the book. My structure was real simple. There's 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference. Everybody gets a chapter.
Okay.
And I go, what's the memory? What tugs on my heartstrings when I go to Tennessee? What tugs on my heartstrings when I go to Texas A&M? It's that kind of thing, and that was the basic structure of the book. I have a group of guys that travel with me to the Georgia-Florida game every year, the boys, we call them, and I did a chapter on the boys because they deserved it to have that success as much as I did.
What's your Mississippi State chapter? We got a Bulldog over here.
Had a lot of fun at Mississippi State. A couple of things involved. The SEC Network was launched on August 14th, 2014. And the reason I remember that is because it was the launch of the SEC Network, but it was also my wedding anniversary.
Hey!
And I had to explain to Mrs. Barnhart why I could not be there for our wedding anniversary because I was in Starkville, Mississippi, launching the SEC Network. Okay? And here's the true story. I get a phone call that day that we're going to launch. I'm sitting out in the middle of the practice field in Starkville wearing a coat and tie and sweating myself to death. My phone rings, and I go, it's my mom, and I'm saying, oh, my mom's calling to wish me a happy anniversary. And I said, hi, Mom, how's it going? She says, I cannot find the SEC Network on my television. Where is it? So we are 5 minutes to air to launch the SEC Network. I am calling Charter Communications of Madison, Georgia, trying to get the channel of the SEC Network for my mama. Well, I got it, and I gave it to her. I said, thank you, Mom. I said, oh, by the way, son, isn't today your wedding anniversary? I said, yes, ma'am. Happy anniversary. Click. So that's one of my favorite Mississippi State stories. And that also the story when college football, after 9/11, we didn't play football that weekend. The next game that was played was South Carolina, Mississippi State in Starkville, and I was there for that. I was there for that to capture that, and I will never forget it. They bring out this They bring out this incredible American flag, stretch it over the home field. Could we have a moment of silence on and on? Then at the end of the moment of silence, the voice would, go to hell, Bin Laden. So that's my that and fried catfish at Little Dewey is my
there you go.
Is my memory. So,
Mr. College Football, he is Tony Barnhart. Good enough to hang out with us for a couple minutes. Thank you, sir. It's always our pleasure.
All right, sir. Good to see you.
Always. It is After Further Review. We're here on Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. David Epps, the new head, the CEO of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, is going to join us when we continue. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Coverage today is presented, as always, by our friends over at Glow Resources, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions. They are Glow Resources and glowresources.com. You know, every successful business needs the right people in the right jobs to thrive. It's just that simple. If you don't have the right people and the right seats on the bus, it just ain't going to work. That's what Glow Resources specializes in, and they have for as long as they've been operational. They help you, the business owner, find the right people for whatever job it is that you're looking to fill. It doesn't matter if it's skilled blue-collar labor or if you're looking for that professional placement division for any type of office job, from an office assistant all the way up to the C-suite. Check out our friends at Glow Resources. And yes, home base is Baton Rouge, but they help businesses all over the country find and fill jobs, quite literally all over the world. Jareth Knockin and the gang have done an awesome job, so check them out at glowresources.com. Glowresources.com. G-L-O, glowresources.com.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team
that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool that crisp.
Tell you every day, better coverage for less money. And man, my friends over at Insurance Network of Louisiana are crushing it for Louisianians on their auto insurance right now. Listen, if you have not had anyone shop for your auto insurance lately, you got to call Insurance Network of Louisiana. My goodness. They got some top-rated companies, Geico, Progressive. They're doing awesome work right now. This was an amazing story that I heard. They wrote one last week, saved the client $2,911 annually. They had a high auto rate with State Farm. They smashed it with Geico. They had another one save $1,476 annually with Progressive. They had Allstate and switched. Y'all, I tell you all the time, if you're just auto-renewing your insurance, man, you're probably overpaying and you're underinsured. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana help. lainsurance.net.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parrish Construction and Roofing.
A year ago, we were in Atlanta, and I'm sure it won't be long till we venture our way back there to Georgia, and that's where we'd find David Epps, who's the new CEO of the Peach Bowl. Gary Stokin filled that chair for many years admirably. Gary retired, and now David has taken over. He's joined us. David, it's a pleasure. How are you?
It's my pleasure. I mean, following Gary is tough enough, but to have to follow Mr. College Football in this chair, you guys, I got my work cut out for me.
Well, you could blame Dylan, because Dylan's the one who booked this for you back to back, right? But we got our LSU guy here.
Absolutely. He's always looking out for the purple and gold. Absolutely.
We would always talk with Gary, and he had so many great memories. See, look, LSU's had a lot of history with your bowl game. And you told me off air, been with the Peach Bowl since 94?
94.
I mean, it's incredible. What for you? I mean, God, we talk about the 2000 game, 1996. LSU Clemson was a 10-7 game. LSU beating Miami in 2005 in a top 10 matchup was incredible. Of course, the college football playoff semifinal with Burrow and Jefferson. What first comes to mind for you when you think of LSU in your bowl game?
You know what? The first thing that comes to mind, honestly, is that game we were talking about. With Georgia Tech, which was 2000, I believe. Yeah. And because for us, it was almost a critical moment as the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl was starting our ascension. You know, for years and years, we were really sort of a middle-of-the-pack bowl game. We always tried to punch above our weight, and we always tried to aspire to more. You know, we were the dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Interesting.
And I think that was a game where there was a good Georgia Tech team and a good LSU. It was great brands, and there was just a feeling we had that signaled a change for us moving forward. But it's also hard to separate because there are a lot of good LSU memories for us. Most of them worked out for you guys.
Yeah.
The one with Mr. Catanzaro did not work out quite so well, but I think Joe Burrow more than made up for that. Cleansed the palate a little bit.
My goodness, that was a sight to behold. To be in Mercedes-Benz Stadium that day in December of 2019 when Jefferson had 5 touchdowns and Burrow, whatever it was, they were a wrecking ball. And but you know what I think is interesting about the Peach Bowl is, even for the last quarter century, you realize if you're playing in the Peach Bowl, you're playing in a big game. Like generally, there's some big stakes on the line when you play that game. I'm curious how this works moving forward with the potential of maybe an expanded college football playoff. Like, what does this mean for the bowl structure for your game?
I think with the 6 of us that are currently a part of the college football playoff, those 6 bowl games, we know that at least for the immediate future, the next 6 years, the CFP just announced our game dates for the next 6 years. So I think we feel like there's a good place for a mixture of home sites and neutral sites. And even in the 12-game mix, it works out where having an on-campus home game that might not work on New Year's Eve or the first week of January can really work well in neutral site cities. If it expands and goes to 16, even to 24, we don't get a vote in this.
Sure.
But I think that my expectation is that we probably still end up as the tail end of the process that still ends roughly the same time, but that the teams still get the enjoyment and the satisfaction of that home game, home playoff game. And the key for us, honestly, is we serve for the good of college football. And we want to make sure that the CFP and the conference commissioners and the coaches and the teams and the fans and the media all come and experience a national championship caliber experience when they come to our game. No matter when or where it is, we're going to make it work.
Yeah, and the CFP this year is a quarterfinal matchup.
We're a quarterfinal on New Year's Day.
On New Year's Day. A lot of us have traditional biases, and I kind of love the New Year's Day, having big games on New Year's Day when it works out that way. I would assume you probably feel the same.
I do. I always tell people I'm a fan. first. I started as a fan, and I'll never get over that. And playing on New Year's Day means something. Of course, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, we made our bones on New Year's Eve. We were the one bowl that wasn't afraid to embrace the one night of the year people said you shouldn't be playing a bowl game. And that's sort of where we made our bones.
Sure.
And so we've always been bullish on that New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And especially because in most cities, and even Atlanta especially, there's very little going on. There's a big hole socially, culturally, academically, and it's just worked.
Yeah. It's it's not just the bowl game as well, because I mean, you all were the initiator of the Kickoff Classic, and you've continued that. Did I see that you all are going to have an NIL initiative baked into the games as well this year?
We are. You know, as these neutral site games become more and more challenging to book, you need to look for creative ways and new incentives, I think, for neutral sites to still make sense for the coaches and the teams. Because the reality is the conference is going to 9 games. If you got a rivalry game out of conference, that's 10. You know, your games 11 and 12, coaches really want a FCS and a G6 for 2 wins. It's become really tough, one, to find space on the schedule. 2 is the CFP committee thus far appears to have told coaches more wins is better than quality wins. That's just what we've heard from coaches.
Yeah.
That's not my opinion. But you see it, you know, last year people would hold up Texas.
Sure.
You know, and say, why didn't they play Team X, get a win? In December, they're a 10-win team.
Yep.
Nobody's questioning whether they should have been in the playoffs. So
Right.
I think coaches are a little nervous about if they play a big-time opening week opponent and they lose, is it going to come back to bite them by the end of the year? And then the third thing is that look at all the conferences that are making huge investments, or the schools rather, in their on-campus experience. I know LSU's put a ton of money into the stadium and the area around it. Tennessee's building an entertainment district. University of Florida. Everybody's upgrading the on-campus experience, upgrading the premium experience so that, you know, they want their fans on campus because then they can stay there, spend their money there, build memories there. So we realize that that's going to be a question in the future. So the NIL angle for us was, can we solve a problem that a team has? And a lot of that problem right now is how do we raise additional money for NIL? And so our model with Auburn, because this was going to be an Auburn home game, is...
And this is the Auburn-Baylor game.
This is Auburn-Baylor, Aflac kickoff game, September 5th, 3:30 p.m. on ABC. I got all the deets.
There it is.
And so we're going to use the what I call real NIL, which is actual name, image, and likeness of football players to help us promote the Aflac kickoff game.
Love that.
And it'll go into the CSC. It'll have to be approved and legal, and we just feel like it was a good solution for what Auburn needed. And we were very collaborative. We came up with this together. Like I said, we had a need to have some great teams in Atlanta. They had a need to raise some additional money for NIL, and it just dovetailed perfectly.
I love that. And you're right. Like that is what NIL was supposed to be initially. And we understand all the different ways that it has evolved into what it has become. But when you see it done well and done right, that is encouraging to show, look, there are ways to do it right, and maybe we'll continue to find solutions that way. You got to be excited about the game. I mean, of course, LSU plays Auburn this year. People are very familiar with Dave Aranda from his time at LSU, now at Baylor. What are we expecting there on the 5th? Hopefully a great game.
I think it'll be a good game. I start with this, everybody I talk with. The thing we're all arguing about at the end of the season during selection time is usually, hey, how does a win against a Big 12 opponent measure up to a win against an SEC opponent or a Big 10 versus an ACC? This is one of only P4 versus P4 games during week 1. And it's 2 teams who are probably comparable within the hierarchies of their conferences. And so we're going to get a data point week 1. How does the SEC stand up to the Big 12?
Sure.
Personally, I think both of these teams have, I'm not saying they're going to compete for the conference championships, but you never know, much bigger upsides than most people think. You know, Aranda is a good coach. Lagway, being in a new place.
That's right.
They've done some great work in the portal. They're rejuvenated. And, of course, Auburn with Coach Golish got Byron Brown coming in, who may right off the bat be one of the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the conference.
Yep.
So I think both teams have bigger upsides. They're both playing for their futures. And, I expect this to be a good competitive game.
You've also got the kickoff for a cause to raise funds for childhood cancer as well.
We do. The Aflac kickoff game is really built as a kickoff for a cause, and Aflac as our sponsor. Such a pleasure to work with them. We and they both have a heart for pursuing a cure to childhood cancer, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So when we play this game is perfect for us to raise awareness and raise money for treatment. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta has been a benefactor of our donations. We've donated over $25 million to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. So we like to use this as a platform for both of our companies and collectively just to make a difference. We always internally say, if we do well, we can do good. And this is an example of us trying to do good.
Hopefully the Tigers do well and are good enough to get back to Atlanta. We'd love to see them when they're playing there in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Usually a meaningful game when they are, and when we do, we'll see you there. David Epps, the new CEO of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and the Aflac Kickoff Classic. Thank you for the time.
My pleasure. Go Tigers.
You heard him say it's a Georgia guy saying go Tigers. Fort Furman in Georgia, we talked?
That's right.
How about that? Tell you what. It's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. We'll put a button here on hour number 1. Stick around here on AFR.
After Further Review.
REVfiber.com, revfiber.com. We appreciate our friends so much over at Rev for being one of our presenting sponsors all week this week from Tampa. As I say often when it comes to Rev, you're talking about a company with 90 years locally owned. And they can handle so much from your high-speed internet, security, home automation, cable, phone. So this is for home or business. Remember, I tell you all the time, Parish Construction and Roofing, we are Rev customers. Guarantee Media, we are Rev customers. The Moscona household, we are Rev customers. So I highly encourage you, think about how you can do business with a great local company. And then maybe if it's for your business, how you might be able to audit your expenses and save every month on your high-speed internet, get a better quality product, better customer service, and save some money. RevFiber.com. REVfiber.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Brees Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Brees Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Four teams opening up SEC Football Media Days: Oklahoma, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Missouri. Of course, Oklahoma, Tennessee, each of the last 2 years, college football playoff teams. Kentucky and Missouri, not that. Kentucky has a new head coach in Will Stein, and Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz are trying to figure out a way where they've won a lot of games. They just haven't won a lot of big games and how to break through there. We'll let you hear from each of them. We'll discuss that throughout. Tennessee actually is making their way around Media Row right now in Digital Drive, so we're going to see if we can maybe hunt down some of the Tennessee players here coming up shortly. But Will Stein, who's the new head coach at Kentucky, took his turn earlier today, and there were two quotes today that were maybe the most news and noteworthy. One's from Josh Heupel, which we'll talk about coming up a little bit later, but this one from Will Stein when he was asked why he believes Kentucky can win big.
In my view, that's part of the conversation.
I think because of me, to be honest. I think because of me. I know what it takes. I've seen it at the highest levels. I know what it takes to recruit at this level. And you just got to believe, man. You just got to put the ball down and play. There's not really else to be said. Is it going to happen overnight? I don't know. I really don't. If I had a crystal ball, everybody in this room would be really, really rich right now. I don't. And so the best determination of if what you're doing is working is putting the ball down and playing football. And so there's going to be bumps in the road. I mentioned it in the speech. Like, I'm prepared for tough moments and tough times. I've succumbed to that in our process, right? I already do self-talk myself about, all right, how can I stay neutral? When stuff's bad, I can stay as neutral as possible and be very diplomatic in my approach. So that's why.
It's so interesting to hear when he was asked, why he thinks he can win. He said, because of me. And then he went on for 40 seconds after that, but really because of me. There were two things that jogged my memory. One, remember when we were in back in Hoover, but I remember Clark Lee when he was taking the podium for the first time, and he said he believed Vanderbilt was the best job in college football. And I laughed, thought maybe under my breath, but probably outwardly, because it's an absurd thing to say, but you have to believe that. And sometimes you're going to say things on that stage to get attention for your program. The other was Curt Cignetti. And Curt Cignetti, when he was introduced at Indiana, you might remember now the infamous Google me line. Now, that's audacious, but 2 years removed, he made a playoff and then won a national championship. Curt Cignetti has ruined it for every first-year coach because there's no job in the country that's worse than Indiana. Literally. When Curt Cignetti was hired, no program in college football had lost more games than Indiana, and in 2 years he won the national championship. It doesn't matter if you're Kentucky or Arkansas or Auburn or anywhere, if you've fallen on hard times, if you hire the right guy and have the right buy-in and resources, you can win a national championship. Curt Cignetti proved it. That's Will Stein, I think, kind of planting his flag. Now, the other interesting thing is that, of course, Joe Sloan is the new offensive coordinator there at Kentucky, and Will Stein talked about Sloan and that relationship.
I'm very excited about Joe, about getting this opportunity at Kentucky. I think he's one of the elite quarterback coaches in the country, develops them at a very high rate. What he did with Nuss, what he did with Jaden at LSU was, really, really impressive. We talked ball the last few seasons whenever we could. We get on a Zoom or see each other at a conference and just draw up stuff on a piece of paper about offensive football. So we share a lot of similarities in just how we think, how we approach the game. And I'm excited for Joe to get this opportunity.
So Joe Sloan leaving LSU, new offensive coordinator at Kentucky. It's worth noting Stein also said that Sloan will call plays at Kentucky. So Will Stein coming from Oregon, where he was the play caller. Now we'll see those play calling duties to Joe Sloan. Of course, LSU will see Kentucky in Lexington on October the 10th. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle or certified pre-owned, shop the best. Shop Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Hour 2 from Radio Row is next.
After Further Review.
Love reminding you about our friends at First South Farm Credit, FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. As I often say, if you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. And that's true in almost anything in life. When you focus on doing one thing exceptionally well, and you do that one thing exceptionally well for more than 100 years, generally you're going to be really good at what you do and be a leader in your industry. Well, that's the truth with First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Since 1913, they've done one thing: help Louisianians buy land. It's pretty incredible. I think it's 1916. My apologies. Anyway, we're talking about for more than 100 years. For awards, economic upticks and downturns, natural disasters, they've done one thing: help Louisianians buy land. So if you're looking to buy land anywhere in the lower 48, you want First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team
that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
Sports Center. I'm Nick DeLuca. World Cup all wrapped up. Spain on top of the soccer world after a 1-0 win over Argentina in New Jersey yesterday. FIFA has opened a disciplinary investigation into post-game altercations involving several Argentina players and coaches physically attacking members of the Spain team. Further details will be communicated by the FIFA Disciplinary Committee once the prosecutor's report has been completed, according to a statement. Changes coming at Michigan. Athletic Director Ward Manuel will step down at the end of the calendar year. The school releasing a summary of an investigation into the culture of the athletic department, concluding the issues were not widespread. Manuel has been the Wolverines AD for over a decade. In the NFL, the Packers are signing standout defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt to a 3-year, $57 million extension with $20 million guaranteed. Former first-round pick out of Georgia had 4 sacks and 15 tackles in 10 games for Green Bay last season.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. Monday show is presented by Relief Windows. We're here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. Day 1, our coverage all week is presented by Rev Fiber, Relief Windows, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, and Parish Construction and Roofing. Thanks to our great sponsors for making this trip possible and the opportunity to talk a lot of SEC football and a lot of college football throughout the course of these next 4 days, and talk to great, interesting people like Kimberly Beaudin, who is the CEO of the College Football Hall of Fame.
Hi, Matt.
We saw you last year in Atlanta. Nice to see you here in Tampa. How are you?
I thank you. I'm great. And obviously we would love to see you in Atlanta every year, but we'll get you back.
Well, I think I heard a few years ago, sort of off the record, that there was sort of the idea of this 3-city rotation of going like Dallas, Nashville, Atlanta, Dallas, Nashville, Atlanta, and they've already announced today that next year we'll be back in Nashville. The Tampa, this was interesting for a lot of people, like why they chose Tampa, but I think so far Tampa's done an amazing job. It's walkable, it's beautiful.
And they did an incredible job with the national championship, so
yeah,
I can see why SEC chose here.
But the league obviously has a great history with the city of Atlanta and obviously with the College Football Hall of Fame. But you were telling me a lot about the Hall of Fame that I didn't realize that the Hall of Fame is a nonprofit.
Yes.
Maybe you could explain to our listener how you all function.
Sure. I mean, we are a nonprofit museum. We are an incredible college football experience, but at our core, we exist to preserve really everything that's great about the game of college football, right? Traditions, passion, all the things that make Saturdays the best day ever in the fall. But yeah, we have really 3 revenue sources. We admission, so people who come and pay to visit the hall help keep our doors open. We do private events, so events like SEC Media Days.
Sure.
We do as many as 175 of those a year because we're connected to the convention center, which I think, being from New Orleans, you kind of know what that's like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then sponsorship and donations. Again, you thanked your sponsors when you came on board or when you came on air. And so, yeah, for us, it's really big, huge thanks to our partners.
And so, I know we have, look, obviously, Atlanta is such a regional hub for the South. And so many people maybe go to school in the South and end up living in Atlanta. It's a transplant city. And so we've got a lot of listeners and viewers I know that live in Atlanta. And you were telling me the 175 events are like, you said proms, like wedding receptions, corporate events, all there throughout the year?
We've had rehearsal dinners, proms. Again, we're connected to the convention center, so huge receptions.
Sure.
As many as 2,000 or 3,000 people, which is wonderful.
It's amazing.
But football ones are our favorites.
I can imagine. What's a week when media days comes to Atlanta for to the Hall of Fame for media days in July? What is that week like for you and for your facility?
We feel like it's what we were built for. So when we are wired with fiber, so we were built to be a broadcast hub in addition to this incredible museum. And so we love being able to host large-scale media events because then the college football world can see what we're capable of. But for us, we're doing a lot of this, a lot of walking around and enjoying Radio Row and getting to talk about the Hall. I talk about the Hall all day long.
I think that's probably what you should be doing as the CEO of the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. But it's just a great opportunity for the Hall of Fame to shine on so many fronts.
Beaudin, where are you from? Where are you from?
Well, me?
Yeah.
I'm from about an hour from here, Polk County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you walked up and I said, Kimberly Beaudin. You're like, you're from Louisiana. You should know that. You got kin in Louisiana?
I got kin that's French Canadian.
Okay.
But it's my husband's kin, but by marriage.
Where's he from?
He is from Connecticut.
What? What? I mean, we just draw the line from Acadiana to Connecticut. I didn't know that was coming. That's fair enough.
But he went to Furman. How about that?
Look, I'm good either way.
We're in Greenville, so.
I'm just glad I got Beaudin right whenever you came up. If I'd choked on that one, that would have been a bummer. But the Hall of Fame, we talked about the mission, but also like you mentioned, it's a museum, and you have the induction class as well. That was recently announced. So that'll be the induction will be in January. Is that right?
The induction is in December.
I'm sorry, December.
Yes,
that's right.
In Las Vegas. The National Football Foundation hosts an incredible event, the National Football Foundation Awards Dinner. It will be December 8th this year in Vegas, and we will induct another incredible star-studded Hall of Fame class. And then we welcome them to Atlanta after that, and we're their forever home.
And you've got you had 3 SEC players: Mark Ingram, Garrison Hurst, and George Cumbie. I got to admit, George Cumbie from Oklahoma, I'm not very familiar. Do you know anything about George?
I know he's definitely a legacy player.
Sure.
So I'm probably not as familiar
that's
with
fine.
him as
That's
you are.
fine.
And you know what? Oklahoma just got in the SEC.
That's
so
kind
we're
of the
just
point.
still
Yeah.
catching up.
I know.
We're still catching up.
I don't know Oklahoma's history, but I know obviously Mark Ingram was a Heisman winner, and Garrison Hurst was a Heisman finalist from Georgia.
Yes.
I think Garrison Hurst was a Heisman finalist the same year Marshall Faulk was, and Marshall played at San Diego State, was from New Orleans, so there's a lot of familiarity there. So what does it mean for guys that are inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame? Like, do they come to the hall? Do they have their display? Do they take photos? Do they bring family?
So the first thing we do, starting in August, so we're already starting to celebrate the class that will be inducted in December of 2026. So we curate a display that honors every single inductee.
Very cool.
We reach out to them, get as many of their artifacts as they're willing to share. We reach out to the schools and ask them to supplement, and we put together this just incredible tribute to their careers. And why they're Hall of Famers. And we leave that up for an entire year. In the actual Hall of Fame, once they're inducted, they'll be etched kind of permanently into glass blades, which I think if you've been upstairs in that kind of round rotunda room. And then they go into the viewers that we have, and we think that's really what differentiates us from other Halls of Fame. It's not just a plaque or a bust. We definitely, obviously, immortalize them in the glass, but then we have an opportunity for guests to be able to research all the players and see highlights and read their bios and understand why they were Hall of Famers, first-team All-America, all of those things that they accomplished during their careers. And we feel very proud that we're able to put our Hall of Famers on such display.
It's such a cool venue, and the first time that SEC Media Days went there was 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct.
Okay, the years run together. I was hoping I had that one right, but it's pretty incredible to see all of the displays. I mean, there are show-stopping pieces like the helmet wall, and there's things that you just look at and it's eye-catching. But to see the displays really cool. There was a strength training display. And former LSU strength and conditioning coordinator Tommy Moffitt was featured very prominently in that strength and conditioning display. So no matter who you're a fan of, you're going to find something in the hall that honors your school and legacies there. So for you, you're there every day, what's your favorite part of the hall?
It's hard to argue with the helmet wall, to your point, only because it's the look on people's faces when they walk in.
It's a showstopper.
It's a showstopper, and it's the first thing they see.
Yep.
And just to see that awe is pretty special, and know you get to be a part of that every day. would say maybe the second part would be some of the unique little, not Easter eggs, but very unique artifacts that people don't necessarily seek out or find.
Okay, give me one.
The first penalty flag.
Okay. What did they use before they had penalty flags?
They just they blew whistles and hoped people heard and hoped people knew what was going on and paid attention. And this, a coach, Youngstown State, kept coming home and complaining to his wife that, they would blow the whistles, nobody knew what was going on. It was very frustrating. And she literally sewed together 2 pieces of fabric and we call her the Betsy Ross of college football. And she literally created the first penalty flag. And I love it for so many reasons, because leave it to a woman to solve the problem.
That's clearly what happened there. The Hall of Fame is awesome. The College Football Hall of Fame, Kimberly Beaudin joining us here, CEO of the College Football Hall of Fame. If people want to find out more, obviously they can just go to the Hall of Fame and buy a ticket, but they want to find out more, where do they go? What do they do?
CFBHall.com.
CFBHall.com, the College Football Hall of Fame. The induction's coming up in December. The new class will be immortalized. I'm sure we'll be back there sooner or later.
Well, let's hope.
And we'll be next year. We'll be in Nashville next year.
Maybe after that. So we're counting on 28.
2020. Yeah. I think we might be back there soon.
All right.
Kimberly, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time.
Matt, thank you.
It's our pleasure. It's After Further Review. We're here at Radio Row SEC Football Media Days, our coverage all week. Love telling you about our friends over at Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. A great Louisiana product. Remember, you can find Evamore at retailers all over the country. Go to Evamore.com, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Hit the store locator, find a store, type in your your zip code, and then boom, it'll pop up the retailer nearest you that sells Evamore. Find it, ask for it by name, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. As a matter of fact, Michael Cobble sent me a photo today. I probably need to tweet this, but truthfully, of a giant Evamore delivery truck here on the streets in Tampa that he texted me a bit ago. So you can find it everywhere. Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. Day one here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days is rolling along. Had a chance to visit with Roger Denny, who is the new athletic director at Oklahoma. Fascinating story, especially in this time, how he had a major career shift at age 40 from corporate law into athletics administration. Now he's the AD at the University of Oklahoma. We'll get to that conversation here shortly. We're glad to have you hanging around with us here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days.
AFR.
If you're thinking of selling your home, call Darren James and get your home sold. I'll give you the number. Darren Sell, say it every day. 335-7666, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com, agent225.com. Y'all, few things worse than having a realtor list your home, put a sign in the yard, putting it on the MLS, and then never hearing from your realtor again. As a matter of fact, it's the #1 complaint to the National Association of Realtors. Hired a realtor, listed my home, never heard from him again. With Darren James, you never have to worry about that. He's got the communication guarantee and also guarantees he's going to sell your home. You want to hear about Darren's guaranteed sale program? Call him today and have that convo. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com, agent225.com. If you need to sell your home, you need the best, you need Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com.
By the way, we do shutters too.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team
that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules.
When your next turnaround begins, or the next capital project moves from planning to execution, downtime isn't an option. Well, who do you trust to deliver? River Parish Contractors has built an organization that is designed for today's industrial challenges with more than 500 employees. They have dedicated project management, safety, quality professionals, 9 full-time estimators, and a 32,000 square foot automated pipe and structural steel fabrication facility right there in Reserve. You know, our friends over at River Parish Contractors, they serve the Gulf South. They are proudly headquartered in Reserve, Louisiana, and they're hiring as well. But when your next turnaround begins, you want the best. You want River Parish Contractors. They are built for bigger challenges. River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
It was last year at SEC Football Media Days that we first met our friend Drew Fabianich, the new executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl, and he's good enough to hang out with us again here. How are you, sir?
Great, Matt. Always a pleasure to be on with you.
You said something last year when we visited that stuck with me, and I played the clip over and over and over and over again throughout the year. And it's when we were talking about Garrett Nussmeier, and you said, I can't forget 2024. Can't forget the tape that you saw in 2024. Well, Garrett showed up at your game and won the damn MVP of the game. Walk me through, we'll get to the draft in a second, but walk me through how that all transpired with Nuss, from obviously the disappointing season with the injury, then to making it to the Senior Bowl, practicing, playing, and having a great week.
You know, I mean, just like when we talked about it, I mean, you can't forget, you can't unsee what you saw.
That was it, can't unsee, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I know what the ability was, and I knew he was hurt like week 1. I mean, you could tell. It was a whole different stroke. I mean, you know, his lower body wasn't involved as it was before, and you could tell he was pressing. You could tell he couldn't drive the ball. You know, and again, there was something wrong with him, which, you know, the NFL found out. I mean, they tried to correct it. He came down and he was healthy, you know, at our game. And he looked like he did back in 24. Mm-hmm. Had a great week, you know, and again, I think the injury piece played a big part in why he fell. And again, that's because everybody's got their own opinions, their own doctors. They're going to grade guys differently. And what it comes down to is, I know the question was asked because I've been in the draft room so many times. It was like, okay, well, is he going to be a PUP guy? Does he have to have the surgery right now? You know, can he wait? Is it going to affect him? There's all those questions going around from the medical staff. And then the coaches are going to go like, okay, well, if he's not going to help us next year, we're not going to invest a high draft pick in him because it's not worth it, right? And that's why I think he fell. And he couldn't have felt, like we talked about earlier, I mean, couldn't have been at a better spot now. I mean, to be with Mahomes and be with Andy Reid, I mean, Andy Reid's one of the greatest play callers of all time. I mean, and now Eric Bieniemy's back.
Yep.
You know, I think it's just a great situation for Nuss. I do. And like, it goes back, I told you, I mean, I've known him since he was 15 years old. And I worked with his dad, and, you know, they had every family member was at the Senior Bowl. I mean, they stayed for another day.
Yeah.
You know, had to get out before the parade started the next day. But it was a great experience for him, and I think it helped his confidence. But I knew he was wrecked. You know, the way he tumbled. it's not because of lack of talent.
Yeah.
It's about a medical report.
You know, aside from the weather, which freezing cold weather in Mobile in January is just weird. Like, I mean, it can be cold in the South, but there's cold and then there's, you know.
Well, here's the wild thing. I used to bring a humongous flipping piece of luggage. And when I flew all the time with the Cowboys, it was one rollerboard and a backpack. That was it. And I could do 10 days, right, like that. I used a gigantic one for Mobile. And my wife she go, why are you packing so much? I said, because it could be 20 and it could be 80.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Because of coming off the water, it can get wicked cold.
Yeah.
And it was, I told people this, my coldest day was in Mobile at a Senior Bowl practice watching Jordy Nelson, and Jason Garrett and I wouldn't even sit down because the bleachers were so damn cold.
Oh, man.
So we stood up and watched, shivering watching practice,
Well, aside from the cold weather, how else, your maiden voyage, your first Senior Bowl as the executive director, how did it go?
It went well. Had a very low drop rate of players that, bowed out during the week. Lowest it's ever been. And I'd like to continue that. And I think agents are starting to realize that the league wants the players to go through the entire process. And
Can you explain what that means? That you just the low drop rate. Can you explain what normally happens to the people who maybe aren't familiar?
Sometimes agents will, hey, a kid has 2 good reps in a one-on-one, which, again, he should. 90% of the pass rush defense should win. They're one-on-ones, receivers and DBs. Well, the receiver should win 90% of the time. It's a lot of air. But they'll pull those players out thinking that they've done enough to increase their draft stock.
And you want them to stay and play the game. You want to stay the whole week play the game.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If they all stay, if 135 guys suit up just like I ask, they'll only play about 11 snaps in the game.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm there to protect them, right? But it's also a showcase for them to compete at the highest level. And I say this to the players. They always say, well, hey, what should I expect? I said, you should expect a very competitive situation. I said, regardless of whether you're in the SEC, Big Ten, whatever, there's going to be guys you lined up against that are going to be working at UPS next week. You come down to the Senior Bowl, they're all getting drafted, and they're all going to play. So it's the best against the best. And the league wants you to go through the practices, the interviews, the game. Because if you can show that you enjoy to play, that you love to play, that's what you want in your building. Because an NFL locker room will eat your ass alive if you don't love to play. Because the veterans won't stand for it. They won't. They'll run them off. Because that's their job, too.
Yeah.
It's not that they're trying to take the job, but they're, you have to, you're messing with my money if you're just doing this half-assed, if you're just going through the motions. So, again, that's what they're looking for. Ozzie Newsome was down speaking at a Mobile and Baldwin County partnership that we do for, high school leaders. And, he's been with the Ravens for almost his entire career. Was with Cleveland then, he was with Ravens. He said the one most important piece is whether they want to compete. So now if you're coming down to interview, to practice and play, you're showing that you want to compete.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing about it. So
Drew Fabianich is with us, Executive Director of the Panini Senior Bowl. Our coverage all week here is brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction and Roofing, Rev Fiber, and Relief Windows. I know you're here and you're already starting to think. I would imagine as soon as the game ends, you start thinking about the next year. It has to be, right? It's recruiting. It's you have to be there. I got to ask you, interestingly enough, another LSU quarterback. I want to get your thoughts on Sam Leavitt because, now he's dealing with the Liz Frank and but he can spend 2 years at LSU. And my understanding, Drew, is he came to LSU with the understanding, the expectation of being on a 2-year deal with LSU. Now, if he's a top 10 pick, he's going to go, right? Mm-hmm. But what's your thoughts on Leavitt today?
Well, he's got to show more consistency. There was some sporadic, points in his career, when he was at Arizona State that, it was too up and down for me. You got to show that you can be a game manager. You got to show that you make sound decisions. A lot of times he was forcing the ball, trying to make things happen. when he shouldn't have. He should just, hey, learn to play another play. Don't do stupid things. Don't turn the ball over. He's talented. He's a really good athlete. Now, if the foot's bothering him, that's going to be a problem because he's an athletic kid. And he's a big man, too, so it's not like that foot's going to have less stress on it. And again, I'm not going to put a round value on him right now, but,
sure.
He's talented enough to probably end up being a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Okay. So every bit I've heard is that from people within the program here throughout June and the work is that he is legitimately 100%. I believe my information is good. So that's a great jumping off point this season. Who else on this LSU roster are you starting to think about scouting for the game?
We looked at mostly all of them. Just even ones from last year. Weeks was on our board last year.
Yeah, sure.
We're going
because juniors can go now, right? Draft eligible juniors can play Super Bowl.
As long as they graduate.
Okay.
If they graduate before December or in December, we can have them in the game now.
Okay.
Which we had about, I think, 6 last year. Like Colton Hood. He was a junior early out. I'm looking at them all, and put it this way. I'm going to monitor this throughout the year just like I always do. And, if somebody surfaces, if somebody, improves, if somebody gets better, they can play their way in. But I can promise you we probably have anywhere from 4 to 5 guys, probably on our 300. Our top 300 is going to come out on August 20th. We're going to start a podcast in August.
Okay.
Senior Bowl show. So we're, like I said, we're way ahead, Matt.
So
I felt behind last year. I did. Now I know the cadence, so I'm already ahead of it. We have 300 done already.
Okay. Now
we scrambled like hell to get it done by like August 25th last year because I didn't have time.
What was the time frame with Jim when Jim Nagy, of course, left that role to go be the GM at Oklahoma and Drew came in? So what was that time frame then?
Jeez, it was kind of a whirlwind. I didn't get moved down there until middle May.
Okay.
So I was really behind.
So I think the game ends. You're talking January. Yeah.
January.
So you're 4 or 5 months behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now, like I said, I feel like I'm 6 weeks ahead, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Because now I kind of know where everything's going to happen. I know when everything is going to happen. And I also know that there's certain obligations that I have in the city that I have to deal with too. There's a lot of kissing babies and shaking hands.
Sure. Well, our relationship, our radio station's relationship with the Senior Bowl has been awesome. And obviously we know that it was Jake and T-Bob. Now Jake and Flynn go and do their shows down there. For our site, LouisianaSports.net, Ross Jackson, who's our Saints writer, goes and covers the Senior Bowl as well. So we've got a great relationship with your event. We'd love to be partnered in that way. You mentioned the 300, so that's basically your board of 300 potential players for the game, yeah?
Correct.
Where do you see the biggest, now I'm thinking about for college football for 26, where do you see the biggest glut of talent? Maybe a team that you think is, there's a lot of those guys popping up on our board.
Notre Dame.
Okay.
Yeah, if normally they don't lose juniors, but if they lost the juniors, they may have 10 draft picks.
Okay.
Maybe. Texas is loaded too, but a little bit more so younger guys. If they lose some juniors, they could probably have about 7 to 8,
What's a team that you would typically expect to see more talent that maybe doesn't appear to have it this year, or just less than?
I can't even, maybe UCLA.
Okay.
I would expect them to be more talented, but I think they're young, and I think the head coach is just kind of learning the waters out there. And competing against SC is really difficult because they have a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure.
And here's one too. I'm going to throw at you too. Why is Texas Tech getting their tail kicked so much? You know why? Because they're making the right choices on those the transfers they're bringing in. They're all players.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You spend that much money, you better get it right.
Yeah.
And they're not the ones spending the most money. There are 3 or 4 other teams that spend a hell of a lot more than they do, but you never hear about it. Just hear about Texas Tech.
Their evaluation?
Yeah. They do a great job with evaluations. Great job.
In the few minutes we have left, I want to be respectful of your time. We're coming up on a break, but I do want to ask you also, we're going to keep an. I'm just thinking of the top tier LSU guys that they got at the portal, which you just sparked my memory. So the other two at the top, aside from Levitt, are Seton and Prince William Mielen. Look, that's a guy who protects the blind side and who rushes the blind side. Maybe a thought on both of those two guys?
I mean, put it this way. I think the rusher, is going to be the worst. He's going to be a situational pass rusher in the league. He might fit better as a 3-4 outside linebacker just because of the body type than playing a 7 technique against a really good tight end. I mean, that's not his game. So the worst he'll be is a situational pass rush guy in the league and be a teams guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst. Now, could he be a 60 snap guy? Possibly, but he'd probably be more successful in the 40s, for the game.
Okay.
Seton, if he cleans up his body, which I heard he has, he was a little puffy. He was. Yeah.
Puffy.
Is that a nice way of saying it?
I've never heard anyone say puffy.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's true. But no,
plump, rotund, soft. I've heard a lot of puffy. I don't think I've heard.
See? There you go. Stay Puft Marshmallow.
Oh, man.
No, he's got all the traits. I mean, and there's a lot of guys that think they're left tackle. He is a left tackle.
Okay.
There are a lot of guys that are playing left tackle that could end up being right tackles or guards because they don't have, we always call it blue feet, which was elite foot speed, and he's got elite foot speed. I mean, and he can bend. I mean, he's powerful. I mean, he's as advertised. I mean, and again, you can't put the value on those guys that are that good.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyron Smith comes right to my mind,
As a comp?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
You're saying as a guy
that's
that guy. Yeah, sure.
It's that
sure.
valuable.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't put a comp on that kid yet. Normally I do. It's got to be the right one.
Yeah.
Like I threw out Donovan McNabb for Sellers, right?
Okay.
Last year, just because of the body type and the throwing.
Sellers is bigger than McNabb, though, huh? No. Okay.
You look at Donovan McNabb's a big man now.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go up close to Donovan, you see those big legs.
Yeah.
I mean, big physical.
But height.
Yeah. I mean, pretty close.
Okay.
I mean, pretty close.
So Donovan
spins it as
yeah.
well too, because hell, Donovan McNabb was at Syracuse. He threw the ball 12 times a game. I mean, he was running triple option. Right.
I remember.
Paul Pasqualoni.
Was that 97 Fiesta Bowl, 96 Fiesta Bowl? Was it when they played Kansas State? Remember that?
Tearing them up, yes. Tearing them up.
Drew Fabian is Executive Director of the Senior Bowl. I got to pick your brain more, man. We got to do this again.
Anytime,
We'll do it throughout the year. We always appreciate you, man.
Anytime, bro.
It's our pleasure. It is after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let's knock out a quick break. We'll come back and we'll continue here. As promised, did catch up earlier today with Roger Denny, who's the new athletics director at Oklahoma. Fascinating convo. We'll get to that here as we continue. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you want to feel your best, we can help. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com. Remember, we're talking about if it's HRT, if it's, of course, hormone replacement therapy, maybe peptide therapy. I get asked all the time, Matt, I hear you talk about peptides. What do you take? I'm transparent. I'll tell you everything I take. On HRT, have been for 10 years. It doesn't even, that's what I say all the time, it doesn't even matter what your age is. It's about how you feel. And biologically, all of us, as we age, our bodies produce less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. And there can be accelerators like stress. Go live in a hospital with your son for 9 months and see what the stress does to your body. I make the comp all the time of presidents. Look at a picture of a president when they're elected and when they leave office, and it looks like they've aged 2 lifetimes. Stress. Well, HRT can help. Peptides can help. BPC 157 is what I take for muscle and tissue repair help. It's been invaluable for my back pain. NAD Plus, your optimization. YourGoodwood.com.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
We continue our coverage from Radio Row here at SEC Football Media Days, Day 1. Our coverage presented by Parish Construction and Roofing, Rev Fiber, Relief Windows, and FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. And a guy who knows a lot about the business side of sports entertainment, sports media, and, of course, sports in general is Roger Denny. He's the new athletic director at Oklahoma, replacing Joe Castiglione, who was there for forever. It's a pleasure. Thank you for a few minutes.
Man. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
It's our pleasure. You're a fascinating story because you kind of represent a bit of a shift in a seismic shifting era of college athletics. Your background was in corporate law and then moved into athletic administration. Why the career change?
It was my passion. And so I was fortunate throughout my career, did a bunch of corporate law and worked in kind of more traditional legal settings, but also always maintained a practice in and around sports and had a lot of clients in the industry, and just had an opportunity at 5 years ago to begin a career change and think about what I wanted to do with my life at 40 years old. And ultimately, University of Illinois was a client of mine, and reached out and had some conversation with their athletic director, Josh Whitman, incredible mentor of mine. And he offered me the opportunity to join him, and was at a point in my life where I felt ready to take that jump, and I did, and haven't looked back, and worked out pretty well.
So from the Big Ten now to the SEC. So which has superiority? How do we do?
I mean, of course, it just means more.
got to now. But my audience knows that I'm kind of a sports business nerd. I think these conversations are fascinating, and all of the conversations now that every athletic department faces, especially in the revenue share, as well. How do you make the money work? Yeah. So specifically with OU, I don't know, coming into the league, there's the partial revenue share and how that all manifests a little bit with the deficit. But what are you all doing at Oklahoma to find new revenue?
Everything. We're turning over every stone we can, and so we're looking at our current revenue streams, our ticket sales, being primary among them. How do we increase that by a few points here and there? How do we identify new media lanes that we can operate in? We're developing, like a lot of folks, a district around a new basketball arena. And so finding adjacencies around sports where we can plug a new line item in the budget rather than trying to maximize each individual item. And so it's every single one of those things. And so we've got a plan we're putting together, and ultimately, as we sit here today, I'll tell you explicitly, our goal is to find $50 million in new revenue. And so
recurring, perpetual.
Yeah, that's our challenge, and feel really good about the team that we've put together to get there.
It's to your point, it's not as easy saying we're going to go ask our donors and increase ticket prices. You can't find $50 million that way, at least not recurring. Can I dig a little deeper on the entertainment district around the basketball arena? That's fascinating because like LSU right now we're in Louisiana, obviously, and LSU has a proposal about a new arena to do something similar. What are sort of what's the structure of how that looks?
We're working through that right now. And so we're going through a process to identify an arena operator. And so there's a couple of elements to it. It's how do we identify a partnership that aligns our interest within the venue? And so that's around parking and F&B and ticket sales and the way we structure our seating arrangements, whether it's capital gifts or the ticket price. What's the right mix of premium seating? Are we, that typical 12, 13, 14% that you see throughout college athletics, or can we push that up to where we're in 18 to 20% premium? And so within the venue, it's again, trying to pull all those individual levers, but where we think there's real chance to move forward is outside of the venue. And so how do we really start to get involved in the experience that our fans have both before and after the game? And so looking at the various lines, whether it's hospitality or different types of merchandising and merchandise sales around the venue where, again, we can tap into little pieces of value around our events that currently are leaving our bottom line and going to third parties. How can we step in and take back some of that territory?
Your baseball program just won a national championship. Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome.
How about stepping right in and watching that?
Well, that's 2 in 5 months. So women's gymnastics won one earlier in the year. Sure. And so I was born on third base. I'm just lucky I didn't get thrown out at home.
That's a good line. I'll steal that one. But one of the fascinating questions I think every athletic director has to consider is, in a revenue share era, is it possible to be great at everything? And Oklahoma is one of those programs where you just mentioned gymnastics. Like the expectation is Oklahoma goes at softball. Now baseball, the non-revenue sports, there is that expectation. Is it possible to be great at everything?
I sure hope so. That's the goal. It really, it's a fairly simple math product. It's what kind of revenue are you generating and how are you allocating that revenue? 2 variables. And so I've got to do everything I can to make sure we're generating as much revenue as possible, going back to our earlier conversation. And so it's how are we doing in ticket sales? How are we exploiting new adjacencies? We put out a press release this week with incredible record in donor and fan engagement. And so I think from a revenue generation perspective, we're doing everything we can to crank that number up. But then it's how do we allocate that revenue? And so for us, that's all about identifying spots where you get real return on the investment. And like any business, how do we limit our overhead and really put ourselves in a position to put as much money into the things that matter as possible?
Is private equity a possibility?
Not as presently considered. The exit in private equity is something that I've really yet to see anyone figure out, and admittedly, I don't have a great solution for it at the moment. But right now, we're still dealing in state assets, right? And so you got to be very particular about how you structure the exit, and so until we can figure that problem out, the private equity is not going to be the answer for us.
I know you're short on time, so we can go quickly, but I did want to get your thought on a few more things. It's here, but a 9-game league schedule. How do you feel about it?
I love it. I think it drives incredible engagement in our league, which is ultimately great for all of us. And so the real issue becomes how does that affect your access to the postseason? And so as long as the folks at the CFP and on the committee demonstrate some value, and not just the 9-game regular season. Don't forget, we've got to play a 10th Power 4 every year. As long as that provides a benefit to our league when it comes to access to the postseason, I'm all for it. The minute we start to lose some access to the postseason because we're playing that harder schedule, I'm going to have a problem with it.
Amen. How do you feel about an expanded postseason?
There's
the
a
right
lot
number?
of give and take. I love the idea of more access to the postseason. I hate the idea of losing the SEC championship game. I think in this league in particular, there's real value around that game and real tradition and history that not all the other leagues can claim. And so if it's at the expense of that game, I think it's a much harder decision to make. But right now, I think ultimately we've got to decide what's best for the industry. And I think what we're hearing from just about everyone is expand the postseason. Commissioner Sankey's got a hard job to figure out how to do that without giving up any of the advantage of our league, and that advantage has a lot to do with history and tradition.
Very generous with your time. I know they're trying to get you out of here, but I do appreciate you sitting with us for a few minutes.
Thank you. My pleasure.
That is Oklahoma's new athletic director, Roger Denny, and it's one of the reasons you love to come to an event like this, because when else are you going to be able to sit down with 10 minutes with the new AD at Oklahoma and talk about private equity and rev share and all the different things they have going on? We appreciate a couple of minutes. We appreciate our friends over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Hey, I want to let you know this Saturday at all Rouse's locations from 11 to 2, this Saturday 11 to 2, it's a taste of summer. It's going to be at all 76 Rouse's locations for 3 hours this Saturday, again from 11 to 2. Celebrate the flavors of summer, July 25th at all of the Rouse's locations. Some delicious summer-inspired samples throughout the store: smoked sausage, fresh-cut watermelon and dragon fruit, seafood cocktails, cheese samples, sardines, snowballs for the kids, ice cream, toppings. There's so many awesome things going on. So make sure that this Saturday you make plans to get by Rouse's for a taste of summer at every single Rouse's location this Saturday from 11 to 2. Rouse's, this feels like home. All right, it's after further review. Day 1 of SEC Football Media Days. Our coverage all week is brought to you by Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, and Parish Construction and Roofing. Thanks so much to our great sponsors. Without them, weeks like this here at SEC Media Days are not possible. We'll now got our final break. Come back, wrap up hour number 2 with maybe the line of the day, which came from Josh Heupel about Lane Kiffin. You'll hear it next if you haven't already. It's AFR.
AFR.
We are brought to you by our friends over at Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siega near Airline, LA 16 in Dedham, Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. We had Drew's birthday party this past Saturday. It was awesome. It's always a pool party. But I'm telling you, one of the great things that accents, it accentuates the outdoor area for our friends and family whenever it comes to celebrate Drew are all the beautiful flowers in the flower beds, in the patio pots that we have on the pool ledge, by the fire pit, and the outdoor kitchen, the whole area. It just beautifies and accentuates all of your outdoor spaces. And there's no place better to go than Clegg's. Yes, I'm insanely biased, but also it's true. They're the largest garden center in the state of Louisiana, the one on Greenwell Springs. But there's 4 locations with endless supply of different flowers and plants and beautiful summer blooms to beautify your outdoor space and add that pop of color. And then everything else you would need as well. You can buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898.
If you are even thinking about a metal building, Proform Steel. Formed right, built strong. Proformla.com. Proformla.com. Listen, if for any reason you've bought or built metal buildings in the past, you probably know who Brandon Golson is. This is the new endeavor. It's Proform Steel. Look, he's on the licensing board. When you talk about a great builder, great operator with great ethics, you want Proform Steel. Proformla.com. Proformla.com. I want to remind you that all of their materials, literally every material that goes into their metal buildings, all American made. Their lead times are about a month faster than competitors. They're going to get you your finished product more quickly, and they're going to get it to you free. You buy a metal building from Proform Steel, they will deliver it to you for free, no exceptions. Proformla.com. Proformla.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Maybe, just maybe, Josh Heupel feeling himself a little, or maybe Josh Heupel was just embracing the moment here on day one at SEC Football Media Days, which I have to say, I love and respect when people actually decide to have a little fun instead of being totally buttoned up. So hat tip to Josh Heupel when our friend Chessa Boucher lobbed a question to Josh Heupel about Lane Kiffin returning to Knoxville this year, coaching the LSU Tigers. Of course, notably when Kiffin was the coach at Ole Miss and returned to Knoxville for the first time, whereas we all remember he left in the dead of night after one season on Rocky Top. They lobbed ketchup in mustard bottles and almost hit him with a golf ball as well. Well, Josh Heupel tapped in that a little bit. Here was the sound.
Certainly hope our fan base hasn't cooled off. So, whether it's the grocery stores being fully stocked with mustard, or our sports stores making sure that they got reinforcements on the golf balls. Hopefully, Knoxville's ready for his arrival.
My guess is he might just hear a little something from the commissioner on that one. I appreciate him having some fun with it, but at the same time, that also was a very dangerous situation. If you hit a man in the head with a golf ball from by 100 yards away, from the 300 level, like, that could be a pretty negative situation. In any event, though, Tennessee, I do think, is a fascinating team because Josh Heupel has established himself and was a playoff team 2 years ago. And then last year, they lost an overtime game to Georgia. They lost by 6 points to Oklahoma. They lost to Vanderbilt by double digits. So they went 8-4. They lost to Bama. Forgive me, they lost to Bama. I knew there was another one. They lost by 17 to Bama. So they went 8-4 in the regular season, then lost their bowl game to Illinois. So they ended up 8-5. Coming off a playoff appearance to go 8-5 was certainly a step back. Now, we remember last year at this time where you had the turnover at quarterback with Nico Imaliava leaving very abruptly, and then Joey Aguilar coming in to be your quarterback. There was just some very natural unrest and disturbance there to think you would have a step back, and that did happen last year for Tennessee, and they went 8-5. Well, Joey Aguilar is one of the few players that went to court to try to get an injunction to be eligible to play and had it denied. And so now you look at a Tennessee team that's got a quarterback battle, very likely George McIntyre, the former Alabama signee, is going to win that job. But you look at that Tennessee schedule this year, which includes LSU going to Knoxville in November. They open up at Furman. They play a non-conference game at Georgia Tech, and then they play Kennesaw State, and then the gauntlet comes. It's Texas, it's Auburn, it's at Arkansas, Bama. They get them at home, at South Carolina, Kentucky, at A&M, then LSU and Vanderbilt. So it is it's not easy for anybody in the SEC. Everybody has a brutal schedule, but Tennessee better get off to a 3-0 start before they get Texas, Alabama, and LSU all at home, but they do have to make road trips to Texas A&M, to Vanderbilt, to South Carolina, and to Arkansas. So maybe a manageable road schedule, but really tough home dates there for Tennessee, where thought on Rocky Top is maybe they need to get back into contention. Do they have the roster to do it? Time will tell. But LSU does make the trip up to Tennessee, and it will be such an interesting point on the schedule for LSU after the really tough home games against Texas and Bama. Then you're at Tennessee there in November. But Tennessee will be coming off a road trip to Texas A&M when they host LSU, with Tigers heading up to Rocky Top. All right, it's after further review. Putting a button here on hour number 2. We'll kick off hour 3 coming up after Sports Center. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. It's a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows, and we are here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Day.
AFR.
And so pleased to tell you about our friends over at Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com. We talk all the time when storms come about industrial generator power, right? Standby generator power. And a lot of times we talk about it in the context of your home. Storm comes, knocks out the power. What do you do at your house? Well, you get a standby generator. What about your business? That's where Arco Power Systems comes in. ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. Start there at the website. If you own a business, you have a commercial or industrial facility, what happens when the power goes out at your business? Well, you need an industrial generator. That's what Arco does. It's industrial generator power. Arco Power Systems, ARCCO. And yes, they're based in Baton Rouge, but they service a giant footprint. I mean, north to Little Rock, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio. Draw a giant circle anywhere in that footprint. You want Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Here on the Gulf Coast, a wave says a lot. It says hello. It says thanks. It says we care. Shouldn't banking feel the same way? A friendly wave, a familiar face, backed by all the convenient tools you need to make banking a breeze. We're Gulf Coast Bank and Trust. Give us a wave and coast into better banking.
This is what you're looking for.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. but our #1 product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. World Cup postgame being reviewed. FIFA has opened a disciplinary investigation into postgame altercations involving several Argentina players and coaches physically attacking members of the Spanish team. FIFA announcing that further details will be communicated by the FIFA Disciplinary Committee once the prosecutor's report has been completed. Spain taking home their first World Cup title in 16 years with yesterday's 1-0 win over Argentina in New Jersey. In college sports, Michigan AD Ward Manuel will step down at the end of the calendar year. Manuel has been the Wolverines' athletic director for over a decade, winning numerous national championships, also dealing with multiple NCAA and legal investigations. The school releasing a summary of an investigation into the culture of the athletic department today. In the NBA, the Lakers are signing free agent forward Matisse Thybulle to a one-year, $3.3 million deal, two-time all-defensive team member.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR from Radio Row, SEC Football Media Days, kicking off day 1 here. Tennessee, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kentucky, and a whole bunch of great guests as well. If you miss any of our content, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Been a great show already. And interesting, I say it all the time, you never know when you come who's just going to sit down. Like just a bit ago, our buddy Drew Fabianich from the executive director of the Senior Bowl stopped by. Great conversation, by the way, about Sam Levitt and Prince Williman Mielen and Jordan Seat, some of the projectability there with those guys. But also earlier today, Kelly Stewart, Kelly in Vegas, as she's known, and Ariel Epstein, who's known as the prop queen. We met them at Super Bowl, and this is the first time they've ever come to media days. They were walking around. It was like, let's do an interview. So we'll talk some sports betting angle with them. You'll hear that coming up in just a smidge. But did have a chance to catch up with our buddy Peter Burns of the SEC Network a bit earlier today. Day 1 here from Radio Row, or we call it Digital Drive now.
Digital Drive.
At SEC Football Media Days or SEC Kickoff or whatever we call it. Peter Burns, Port Allen's finest. Joining us here.
That's right.
I love the fact that you rep the West Bank,
the Pelicans, baby.
You rep the Tigers all the time as well. Today is sort of an interesting day because normally we're used to LSU coming out the chute, and today it was Oklahoma, Missouri to start the day. How do you think that went, sort of easing into the day instead of like the cannonball into the deep end?
I don't know. We've done so many of these anymore. I don't ever feel like there's one that's like, oh, we love that. I'll be honest with you. This one feels different than years past, not only because it's a new location, obviously here in Tampa. So there's a new definite energy about that. I think it's more of the fact that, beforehand we would know
hey, who are the main attractions? What was the main attraction for a decade when we were doing these things?
Saban.
It was Saban. Saban would roll in. We couldn't wait. There was a new energy. Everybody was no longer hungover that morning. They were ready to roll, right? This is always adult spring break. You know how it is. But I feel like that's the energy that Lane's going to bring. Like, what's the story right now? Is it Kalen DeBoer in Alabama? No. Is it going to be even Steve Sarkisian and Arch Manning? Well, we saw that last year. It is how Lane is going to handle himself over on the podium. And so that becomes the main event that when I do all of these interviews and you do all these interviews, we get asked about it nonstop.
We talked, you and I, last week, when you had just left Oxford.
Yeah.
And you're doing the feature on Trinidad Chambliss. So we spent some time last week talking about Chambliss and the Ole Miss side of it. Let's talk about the LSU side of it. Like, how do you think Kiffin did this offseason?
I mean, that's a loaded question. And I mean by loaded is that where do you start on how good things went? Like, take everything in a vacuum of you're hiring a brand new coach, and what do you want to have happen? You want to bring in a hell of a staff. He's brought in a hell of a staff. You want to bring in a slew of great players. He's brought in a slew of great players in the transfer portal. You want to recruit really well. He's recruited really well. He's got boosters behind it. What the hell else would you want from Lane Kiffin in a vacuum? The problem is that everybody else in the other side of that vacuum, and even yourself and myself in the media, we look at it and go, there is baggage that comes a little bit. But if you took it in a vacuum and you said, I was going to give you this, everything I just listed, and you got it going into the season, how the hell are you not saying this is a plus hire?
Do you make anything of Sam Leavitt not coming this week?
Yeah, I hate it. I hate the fact that he's not here this week. And people go, oh, it's because of this reason. And I told you back on the show last week and I just told her Vincent that as well too. I'm like, man, I always want to have if you know this is going to be your quarterback, bring him. Okay. Because I want to know who he is. Frankly, me, like before I'm an SEC Network guy, I'm a diehard LSU fan. I want to know who Sam Leavitt is. And this is a good opportunity to find out those things. But I over the years, I always leave this and I go, what did I learn? I don't know about you, but for me, it always feels like what I learned was how they carried themselves off camera or little kind of nuances here and there. And almost every time I could tell you if a quarterback had the juice just on how they handled themselves all year long. Or all week long over at media days. I'm upset, and maybe it's personal, that I don't get that opportunity to get to know Sam a little bit more. Does it matter when they kick off against Clemson? No, not really. But I would have loved that opportunity to see it this week.
Peter Burns is with us. We're here at Radio Row, SEC Football Media Days. Coverage all weeks brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction Roofing, Rev, and Relief Windows. We appreciate them sincerely. Outside of LSU Clemson, what SEC non-conference game are you most looking forward to?
I would have said Texas, Ohio State because of last year, but I think the more and more I look at this, I look at Oklahoma rolling into Michigan because it's not just is Oklahoma a contender, which I do think they are.
Okay.
It's more of a matter of I'm pissed off that the Big Ten continues to run their mouth. But listen, I guarantee you for 20 years, they were upset that we were saying what we did, right? And in the success that we had. So I think for me, it's a matter of can a SEC contender, because a lot of times when you get these big big power two matchups, maybe one team is on the up and up and one team is on their way down. So it's not really equals. I look at I look at Michigan and Oklahoma being teams that can both compete. What are you going to do? Can you go into Ann Arbor and take that game?
Yeah. God, Bryce Underwood year 2. It's that going to be like an Oklahoma?
And they bring in Whittingham, and then now Whittingham brings in his offensive coordinator, who was great. But I had this conversation a couple of days ago. People are asking, like, man, are you upset that Bryce Underwood didn't choose LSU? And I go, honestly, no, because now I look at it and go, they probably had to spend $9 or $10 million to get him. And you're really only going to get 1 year on that $9 to $10 million. And then you're hoping to keep him one more year. So you're probably $15 million into 2 years. Cost for reference that out. I don't know if it's going to be worth it.
Yeah. I remember when we broke that story, it was a $3 million, it was a $12 million deal that they did with Bryce Underwood. The domino and the butterfly effect of the Bryce Underwood thing it's undeniable with how it touched LSU.
Sure.
Okay. We got like 2 minutes left. They're shooing you away. What's your favorite cereal?
Golly. I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay.
Gotta be honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
just old
standard
school
one.
Cinnamon Toast. I mean, not Fruit Loops or anything like that. I can't do that.
I love Fruity Pebbles. I love Fruit Loops. But as a former fat kid, if it was sugar cereal, I ate it. It didn't matter.
Yeah,
I
it
ate
didn't
all of
matter.
Yeah,
But
but Captain Crunch is always that's really good. Favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
Captain Caveman. Captain
I don't even
Caveman
remember
was
that.
legit. You don't remember that one?
Yeah.
I think, man, it always remember we would wake up and then like the new season of Saturday morning cartoons, and now I hate it because my daughter Bo is 8, son, Tiger Joe, or Thomas James also. At 6
On
years
this
old,
show, he will always be Tiger Joe.
He will always be Tiger Joe
On the show.
He looks at this and he's like, a commercial? In this economy, Dad? Like, really? We're doing a commercial here? 30 seconds? And I was like, buddy, we used to have to raw dog like 6 minutes of commercials, and we would just sit there right there. So they don't understand how good they have it. By the way, I'm going to bring them. My dad just bought a place in Baton Rouge, which I can't wait because now we're going to have a spot there. So I'm going to bring Tiger Joe to his first LSU football game.
Awesome. Which one y'all coming to?
Probably Texas.
Okay.
So
let me know. We'll connect and hook up. What do you listen to that's not sports? What podcast that you listen to that's not sports related?
I get as far away from sports as possible because I'm so far in it all the time.
Same.
And so for me, it's just like I'll literally listen to like Master P No Limit Records or something like that. Just old school, like Juvenile 400 Degrees, something like that.
You should have seen Catholic High in 1997.
Oh, with
Catholic
the
St. Joe's dances when they play Make 'Em
the
Say
trunk rattling, probably like that. Took the shocker, Mia X, right there,
dude. On Make 'Em Say when Mystical comes on the track.
So real quick story, and I did
Yeah.
not have this on my bingo card. There was a documentary done about Make 'Em Say and like No Limit Records. It was all about Percy Miller and how he got his background on it. He said that when he put the beat together, there was like 15 rappers in No Limit. And the story was that whoever are the first 5 people to get in the booth, write their rap, I'll put you on the record.
Love it.
Those are the first 5 people, and it turned out to be a hit.
It's so good. He's always a hit. He's Peter Burns. Thanks, man.
See you, bud.
We always appreciate our time with Peter Burns, always repping BR and doing great things with the SEC Network. We appreciate it. I always appreciate Hancock Whitney, which has been my bank for quite literally as long as I've had a checking account. Hancock and Whitney merged years and years ago, but I've always had Hancock Whitney. Quite literally thought, well, let me see. I'll do this right now because I tell y'all this is real, and I'm going to pull. I'm looking at my. If you're listening, not watching, I'm digging in my backpack right now. I'm going to get my money clip. I'm going to show you that this is actually a for really real thing. So if I open up my money clip and I get my little debit card here, I'll show you. Cover up the number so you don't try to rob me. I do, in fact, have my New Orleans Saints Gold Hancock Whitney Visa debit card. I am a card-carrying member of the Hancock Whitney Houdat Nation. Right there. There it is. So if I go to the Dome in a game, they do the deal where you hold up the card and then they give you $100 or whatever, I could win. But then I'd have to be at the game holding up the card, and they'd have to pick me out of like 60,000 people and then get me the money. But I could do it. Hancock Whitney, HancockWhitney.com/Matt. They gave us our own URL. So right now, if you go to HancockWhitney.com/Matt to get started, you can get up to $600 free money after you open a Freestyle checking and Freestyle savings account. Meet the requirements. Again, go to HancockWhitney.com/Matt. My name, HancockWhitney.com/Matt. Minimum deposit, account opening balance, and other requirements apply. Learn more at HancockWhitney.com. Member FDIC. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We've talked Kentucky. We've talked Tennessee. We've talked a smidge of Oklahoma earlier in the show. I do still want to talk about Missouri because they did take their turn today. I want to give them at least a scotch or modicum of equal time. We'll do that. But first, when we come back from this break, you'll hear from Kelly Stewart and Ariel Epstein. That's Kelly in Vegas, and Ariel, the prop queen, who we met this year at Super Bowl Radio Row, and they visited with us a bit ago. They do give their thoughts on some sleeper picks here at the start of the college football season. You'll hear that when we come back. Stick around here. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
If you're thinking of putting in a pool or have ever thought of putting in a pool and thought, God, I'd love that. Sounds expensive. I don't think I can afford that. You need to go to DuplessisPools.com. DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. First of all, congrats to my buddy Derek Duplessis. This year, Pool and Spa Magazine, again, named Duplessis Pools a top 50 pool builder in America. They are the only Louisiana pool builder to earn that distinction. And now 2 years in a row, they've been named a top 50 pool builder in America. So that's awesome, number one. Number two, when you go to the website, They've made it super user-friendly. Right there on the homepage, you'll see Pick Your Pool. Hit that tab. There's 11 different designs. Now, you want to come with your own custom pool design, like resort-style pool. They can do whatever you want. But you can start there with one of the 11 different designs. Pick your finishes. You can even, boom, pay for it right there or finance it on the website right now. DuplessisPools.com. And pools start at less than $48K. So this is doable, y'all. DuplessisPools.com. DuplessisPools.com.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
I love coming to SEC Media Days. I say all the time, like, you never know who's just going to like sit down in a chair. And so we were at Super Bowl Radio Row, and I got to catch up with Kelly and Ariel, and they're just walking down the radio row here. It's like, sit down, grab a headset. Ladies, how are you?
Doing really well.
So it y'all do a million of these, right? I mean, you're at Radio Row for Super Bowl. We're here at Media Days. What brought you here this way? Have y'all come to SEC Media Days before?
So it's actually my first Media Days outside of Super Bowl row ever. I've never really, I think because of the gambling aspect, there was always that kind of like shunned, if that makes any sense, because now that the Big Ten has their event last year in Vegas, it's a lot more open.
Yeah.
And I told Ariel, I said, hey, we've got some new stuff in the works that I don't know if we're allowed to announce yet, but they said, hey, do you want to go to SEC Media Days? And I go, cool, I live 45 minutes away. I'll meet you there.
Okay, and it was easy for me to go stay with Kelly. I'm from New York.
but Kelly lives in Florida.
Okay.
I said I would come and stay with her. We'll come get some content. We'll see some people that we know. I did ACC Media Days when I was a local sports anchor in North Carolina.
Okay.
So it's different. It's funny, though, seeing how all the different conferences lay things out and how I like seeing new people, too. It's fun.
So Ariel is known as the prop queen. And so when we were talking to you guys at Super Bowl, it was like Super Bowl bets and stuff like that. And by the way, are y'all on behalf of anyone here this week? Do we need to promote?
Can't say that yet.
Can we? We have a table.
We can't say it.
Okay, we can't say it. Yeah, I'm going to say Wager Talk. I'll give Wager Talk a plug.
Okay.
We'll give the prop queen a plug over here. We'll plug our own selves today.
We're plugging ourselves.
Do that. So follow them on social media. It's at Ariel Epstein and at Kelly in Vegas. If you want to give them a follow, do that. So we're going into like a college football season. When do you start putting together like season-long bets or season-long props? Does that work now?
Yes. So probably the last 3 weeks. I usually make myself take a vacation before 4th of July.
Back-to-back vacations.
I did. Listen.
Nothing wrong with that. That's why July exists.
She
was on the beach for 2 weeks.
It just worked out so well for me.
You live in Florida. You're always on the beach, right?
I wish. I don't get to go near as much, but got to go to St. John, got to go to Key West with 2 separate groups of friends. And then I was like, okay, I don't want to touch adult beverage for like at least a month. So now I've got lots of work I can catch up on. Get back home and you got to hit the ground running with obviously the Power 4 conferences and the NFL, because that's kind of your bread and butter from a content perspective. Now I may divulge into, the MAC and the revived Pac-12 later on, because I think you can find some hidden gems in there.
Right.
But everybody wants to talk about the SEC. Everybody wants to talk about the Big Ten, and everybody wants to talk about the NFL. So if you don't have those ducks in a row first, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Ariel, like season-long props, what do you look at right now?
Especially in the NFL, I'll do season-long props. I don't like betting props on anyone in college. There's too much variance. Kids, every time I've tried, especially March Madness, since it's such a big tournament, I've tried so many times. The same analysis I would use for handicapping the NBA, I can't use on college players. It just changes too much, and kids are very unreliable. With NFL props, it's the best to get in now, especially on overs. If you want to bet under, sometimes you can get a better number later on, but I try to just take any number I can early around that July, August mark. The only thing you have to consider, hey, are injuries going to impact any of these futures?
I think the other thing about college, too, is there's so many states that don't allow it. Louisiana, New Jersey, Illinois.
New York, you can't bet on New York teams.
So it's interesting from a college perspective. What can you get down? How much of an edge do you have? And if you don't, then it's best to just say, we're going to pass.
Yeah, it started in Louisiana because of the Keyshawn Beaudin situation.
Ooh, yes.
So that's whenever they disallowed prop betting in Louisiana. So I'm curious from your perspective, has the Brendan Sorsby thing affected you all, your markets at all, in how you approach things in any way?
I mean, I took Texas Tech under 10.5 wins.
Okay.
Of course I did. You can't discredit the drama and the amount of craziness. As I guess the resident Big 12 girl of the group here, right? I went to Kansas State.
Okay.
I used to love Lubbock, Texas Tech. They've kind of gotten this inferior or superiority complex, like the rest of the conference is inferior all of a sudden because they have a billionaire that can write checks.
But they're not the only one with a billionaire.
In the Big 12, they might be. K-State does not have a billionaire. Paul Edgerly did just sell the Celtics. Unfortunately, he didn't own all of it. So even though the sale was a billionaire.
Who's the Kansas billionaire?
You're right. David Booth.
Yeah.
And, dang it, what's the other guy? He does XRP.
Yeah, because they just named or they did the jersey or the stadium for XRP.
Yeah, you're right. He's a billionaire. So can you as a billionaire?
But speaking of billionaires, the biggest impact to us in the gambling world would be NIL. That has been the hardest thing to handle because you don't know who's getting money. You don't know who might leave. There's so much in the transfer portal now. Who has incentive to play? I mean, there's just so many things that we don't know.
What I've been doing, and AI has drastically changed my handicapping. It's amazing because you can scrape from other websites. Obviously, you want to double check the work, but like I can scrape the rosters. I'm like, okay, I want wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 even. Okay, these are the 2 guys who are an option to start as tight end. We'll find out. And obviously, these things start to adjust. But once you have your spreadsheet done and you can say, okay, here's who we have an idea of. Texas Tech is unique because everybody handicapped for Brendan Sorsby, and now it's going to be Will Hammond coming off a pretty bad injury. Is he going to start week 1? Does it matter? Maybe not. The reality is, though, when you start to have these off-season issues, okay, we saw it with the New England Patriots with Vrabel. We saw it with Jackson Dart and Donald Trump. Like these little things. Maybe we're over it come August. Maybe you're not. And so I kind of have to say, all right, right now, this Texas Tech number is built in with Brendan Sorsby. It's not built in with Will Hammond. And Will Hammond can make me have to apologize 10 times over, and he has an amazing year, and they win 12 games, the Big 12, and get to go to the college football playoff. I had that team last year at 100-1 to win the national championship.
Wow.
I gave it out on one of my shows. I said, this is a long shot for a reason. Throw a flyer on this team because they have spent more money than God on this roster. And you've got to be able to appreciate it from that standpoint. But from a coaching standpoint, you still have to be able to get these guys to play as a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
And when those dramatic things start happening and the rumblings start going, it can affect your locker room if you're not a good enough coach to keep things in a wrap. Do I think Joey McGuire is a great coach? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I still have to kind of wonder if the ceiling isn't just a little too high after last season.
The total's 10.5?
10.5, juice to the over. So they're
Okay.
making you pay for it. I took the plus money on the under 10.5. I think the 10 wins. It's very feasible. 9 could be interesting. We'll see.
Kelly in Vegas, Ariel Epstein. Let me get a thought on LSU. It's the total for LSU was 8.5. We saw it bump to 9, and it quickly went back down to 8.5. Thoughts on Lane Kiffin year one?
Listen, it's Lane. We were laughing with your producer off here. It's Lane. I cannot wait to be here Thursday for Must See Lane TV. And she's like,
sees it every day?
she says, "Oh, I don't know if you're going to get anything good." And I'm like, "Oh no, we're going to get it. We're going to get it in the eyes. We're going to get it." So,
Body language.
listen, huge Lane Kiffin fan. I think he is awesome. I think it's going to be very exciting for LSU. I think LSU has some quote unquote rebuilding to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know you guys have your own bazillionaire donors as well, but things still take a little bit of time, right?
I always have this mindset, whether it's any sport, any level, I like to stay away from a first-year head coach with a new team, a new quarterback. Anytime that you don't know what those dynamics look like on the field, I try to just stay away. I'll watch. Maybe you could jump in season if you like something, you don't like something, but until then, I need to see it.
Give me some value on a couple minutes left. Some value on a college football team win total that you like.
Divert to her.
She's going to divert to me. I think Oklahoma's going to win the SEC.
They're going to win the
12
SEC.
to 1. I almost said Big 12 because they are 12 to 1 to win the SEC. I think it's an interesting outlook. A lot of people are saying how tough their schedule is because they do have to go to Ann Arbor. And then, of course, they play Texas in the shootout, but that's a neutral field. And then at Georgia, those are going to be tough. But after October, it's kind of smooth sailing. And in the SEC, if you peak too early, it's not good. It's how you finish. And I think they're going to finish really strong. I think they're going to be in the mix. So at 12 to 1, I thought there was some real value there. John Mateer needs to stay healthy. That's my asterisk.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to ask at Media Days this week?
Are you going to be healthy? How's your knee?
He's walking around here. He's around somewhere.
I saw him walking to SEC Media Days. He's fine.
He's fine.
It's not like Conor McGregor when he's walking out with the limp.
Cam Scadaboo at Fanatics Fest, and he did a backflip.
Who did?
Cam Scadaboo.
Oh, Scadaboo did a backflip.
Of course he did.
Are we okay? Do you think that there was a Conor conspiracy? Because I do not.
So conspiracies are like my hobby.
So you think he was injured? You think he was injured?
Do I think he was injured?
I don't think that they knew that he was as injured as. I think it's more when you know the human body that there are ligaments and nerves that surround certain parts of you that if they aren't at 100% could lead to a bigger injury.
I mean, Conor
so
and I
how
are the
did we
same
not
age.
know?
Conor and I are the same age. Every day I wake up, I'm like, ow, why does that hurt? I don't know. Was he fine? Dude, does Dana White and the UFC have doctors look these guys over with a fine-tooth comb? They do.
Yeah.
That is the
That's
reality.
What's so weird.
It was just such okay. So
and it's the other leg, right?
It's the other leg.
So maybe because when he was conditioning and you put all this, like they always say, when you have a big injury, you put more weight on the other side, whether it's an arm, whether it's a leg. Like you might put more pressure on the other side to compensate. And maybe because he wasn't in a competitive setting for so long.
It's 5 years ago.
That's a long time. That's a lot of extracurriculars in
just
that
weird that he would go with the kick at the beginning. Like, try
you're not the kick guy.
He's a showman. That's the thing with Conor.
There just was two. Here's the problem also that everybody bet on Conor. So everybody loses. The sports books clean up.
I didn't bet on Conor.
Well, of course not.
I'm a huge
Smart
MMA
guy.
nerd. Like, dude, ring rust is real. You don't take 5 years off. And he lost 3 of his last 4 and his leg shattered the last time we saw him. People who thought Conor was going to win that fight are does not mean anyway meant to be disrespectful. It's just it's casuals who don't watch the sport a ton.
Correct.
Like in the sport over the last 5 years has evolved so much. And Conor in the 5 years ago was phasing out. Like Khabib destroyed Conor. Like he's a great striker. He's not a great all around. If Conor was starting his career today, he would never have ascended to the level.
I think also looking at the difference between what Max was paid and what Conor was paid made people think he was just in it for the check. One last check, get your $38 million and get out.
Have you seen his net worth?
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know.
Like $38 million.
You think about Michael Jordan though.
He spends a lot of money too. I mean,
no.
There's tons of NFL players that we've seen go
Michael Jordan said the biggest problem and why he went on to go and buy the Hornets was because he missed being out there under the lights with everyone cheering for him. I think that's the big thing for McGregor. Is like, what are you going to do? You go through this quiet life?
Why did Mike Tyson box at 60?
Correct.
It's just when the lights go out for some of these, they don't. It's the thing that makes them, the thing that makes them great.
Well, and Conor had a failed political career. He tried that temporarily. I was in Dublin last year and I was like walking around all the pubs. I was like, so you guys gonna vote for Conor? And they're like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, maybe.
We're here. We're waiting for Lane to show up on Thursday. Y'all hanging out all week?
Yeah, we'll be here off and on all week. We're gonna take Wednesday off. It's gonna be beautiful outside, so I can't pass up.
This is gorgeous. Like this I mean, I think we all, whenever they said Tampa, we're all like, are we going to Tampa? Yeah. And then you come and it's like we're right here on the water and it's beautiful and everything's walkable. It's been awesome. Ariel, Epstein, Kelly in Vegas, ladies, it's a pleasure. Thanks so much for hanging for a few minutes.
Thanks, Max.
It is after further review as we roll along here. How about Kelly's take on Oklahoma? Fascinating convo there. She likes a bit of a flyer on Oklahoma to win the national title, and it makes a lot of sense. We've talked about OU a good bit today on the show, that the dynamics and the pieces are there. The schedule's tough, but everyone has a tough schedule. It's just a matter of, can you go 10-2, get in? And if that Oklahoma offense is better than they were a year ago with a limited John Mateer, and the defense is there to match it, they've got the quarterback, they've got the defense, they've got a lot of the ingredients that you need. One school we haven't talked about yet is Mizzou, and out of obligation we'll do that. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they treat you like family. It's Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. Here at the end of July, maybe you got one more beach trip in you before school starts up here in a couple of weeks for the kiddos. If you're hitting the road, or maybe you're back from the beach and you're noticing, those tires are a little treadbare. Maybe it is time to go shop for new tires, and the only place you want to go is Shaw Bills, because they're going to sell you the best tires on the road, the cheapest price possible. They guarantee it. Part of the Charlie's Dozen. Remember, they guarantee it. Buy tires at Shaw Bills. If you find those tires advertised cheaper somewhere else, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. They're not going to be beaten on price. So get the best tires at the cheapest price, and they'll treat you like family at Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We are going to put a button on the day, sort of get you a preview for tomorrow, for Tuesday, day 2 of SEC Football Media Days. When we come back, though, the one school we haven't really touched on yet is Missouri. So I'll give you a quick thought on Mizzou, and we'll wrap the day. So we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Watermark Baton Rouge and Renaissance Baton Rouge. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Renaissance, of course, beautiful, giant, sprawling hotel. The grand ballroom can host up to 500 people. So a large-scale wedding reception, a corporate event, a fundraiser. The fraternities and sororities will host dances there, awards banquets. Renaissance Baton Rouge, conveniently located right there on Bluebonnet near I-10. Look, you live in Baton Rouge for any length of time. You know, most people begin, if you're giving instructions on how to get from point A to point B, it starts with get on I-10. Well, I-10 Bluebonnet is right there where Renaissance Baton Rouge is. So they also have Tallulah inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge. Awesome casual upscale dining experience, great for dinner any night of the week or a client lunch. Make sure you check it out today if you haven't ever been there, or it's been a while. Get on by and see our friends at Renaissance Baton Rouge.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic buttered spread.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
You know, Eli Drinkwitz is such an interesting figure in the Southeastern Conference because he's won. He's won at a place where people don't generally win a lot. Listen, I understand Gary Pinkel had a good run there, but Barry Odom did not. And quite honestly, it took Drink his first 3 years to get to relevance. But he has won games and won a lot of games. He just doesn't win the big game. And that's a guy who probably feels like he's butting up against a glass ceiling in Como. And I'll tell you point blank, and I have no problem saying this and saying it loudly, that Eli Drinkwitz was LSU's number 2 option last year. If it fell apart with Lane Kiffin, Eli Drinkwitz was going to be the LSU coach. And he may never acknowledge that or whatever. I know he signed the contract with Missouri on Thanksgiving Day. He signed the contract extension. But remember, the contract extension he signed had no buyout. There was no amendment to his buyout from the old contract. So the point was he could have still gotten out of it if he wanted. And thankfully it worked out. I'm telling you, that would have been, that would have just been, he was talking about the air out of the balloon. $54 million about Brian Kelly, all the fiasco with the governor, everything that happened. If LSU landed on Eli Drinkwitz, that would have been, the vibes would be notably different in Baton Rouge than they've been the last 6 months with Lane Kiffin. But you look at Drinkwitz, and he went 12-1 in one season at App State. Then he gets the Missouri job, and he goes 5-5 in COVID. Then he goes 6-6. They lose the bowl game. 6-6, lose the bowl game, and then he goes 11-2, 10-3, and then last year they went 8-4 and lost the bowl game. But the point is, like, he's won games and has a winning record in conference during his time at Mizzou. And they won the Cotton Bowl. Now it was against Ohio State when Ohio State had everybody opt out. But still, Drinkwitz sort of fancies himself as look, he's going into year 7 at Missouri. So he's been around. He's won games. He's won a New Year's Six. And he fancies himself in that upper echelon. I don't think anyone else actually thinks of him or that program that way. And I don't know that this is the year that's actually going to happen for Missouri. When Drink met with reporters earlier today, maybe the most notable, the most important thing was he gave the update on Ahmad Hardy, who you might remember was shot in the offseason and thankfully has healed.
Ahmad has been medically cleared from the bullet that struck him, and he is on the road to recovery. The bullet did strike a bone in his body, and that has been fully healed and cleared. And today was his first day back towards a full recovery. We do anticipate that this return to play protocol could take anywhere between 5 to 8 weeks. And at the end of the 8 weeks, we still don't know what his recovery will be from is he the same Ahmad Hardy that was last year. My anticipation and what I've seen, the way he's attacked his rehab, he's going to be a better Ahmad Hardy than when he was before.
That's fantastic to hear. And for all the talk about Kewan Lacey, who was outstanding and an All-American a year ago, Ahmad Hardy led the SEC in rushing with 1,649 yards. So the fact that Ahmad Hardy, it's 16 touchdowns. The fact that Hardy is healing and they think is going to be healthy is awesome. And it could have been a tragic situation. A tragedy, by definition, involves a death. And thankfully, miraculously, that didn't happen. It sounds like Ahmad Hardy's going to be back on a playing field, which is phenomenal to see. You look at Missouri this year, and LSU doesn't play Mizzou, but the schedule for Mizzou starts out to where they should be ranked and should be relevant, and going into October should be the part of a conversation because they open up with Pine Bluff, then they go to Kansas, and then they're home against Troy, and then they're at Mississippi State. Great opportunity to start 4-0, and then they're home against Florida. Now, John Summerall, obviously starting at Florida. We'll see what they look like by the time you get there to the first Saturday in October. But that's a phenomenal opportunity for Missouri to start 4-0, and if they beat Florida 5-0, and then they welcome in Texas A&M, which I'm not saying that's going to be an easy game. There's a lot of people here who think A&M is a playoff contending team, as they made the playoffs a year ago and returned a lot from last year's team. And I think of A&M and just think about what we talked about earlier with Oklahoma. They're always going to be good on defense, and their quarterback situation is settled with Marcel Reed. They've got you're good on defense, and you've got a quarterback, you got a shot. So then they go at Ole Miss, at Arkansas, home against Texas, at Georgia, and they finish with Kentucky, Oklahoma. So I think Mizzou is probably one of those teams this year that halfway point of the season, they could be 5-1 or 6-0. Or 5-0 if they get past Florida before they play Texas A&M. But then when you play in the second half of the season among your final 7 games, A&M, at Ole Miss, Texas, at Georgia, Oklahoma, those 5 games, like, you could be looking at a Mizzou team that finishes 7-5. They could start 4-0, 5-0, and finish 7-5. Like, it's a very real possibility with the way the schedule shapes out and being very back-loaded. Now, it also is going to be very interesting to see what happens with Austin Simmons, who was the starting quarterback. Lefty, big, tall, athletic guy, was a starter at Ole Miss a year ago, was injured. He got Wally Pipp by Trinidad Chambliss, entered the portal. Now he's at Missouri, and he's going to be the guy there. So, I mean, it's fascinating because Simmons was at SEC Media Days last year with Ole Miss before he had started a game, and now he's going to be the starting quarterback at Mizzou. The one other thing of note is Eli did kind of get on his soapbox today when he was asked about the biggest problem in college athletics today, and I think a lot of people probably agree with him.
I'm a math person, and anytime you have more than one variable in an equation, there's no solution to it. And right now, we currently have 3 variables in any type of solution, and that's an unlimited cap, it's an unlimited transfer, and unlimited eligibility. And before anybody tells me that we have eligibility rules, I think they need to look within the league and see that we've had multiple years where multiple people have sued and won multiple years of eligibility. So anytime you have those 3 variables, you have no solution, and you're going to have a continued inflation of liquidity within the market. And that's unsustainable. I think our job is to protect and advocate for our student athletes to become the best version of themselves. And in doing that, there has to be guardrails in what they're given. And right now, there are no guardrails. And instead of there being people who can help guide them along the way, we've allowed a lot of unintended consequences and bad actors into athletics and into players' lives. And I think that's an unfortunate thing. There's going to be long-term consequences for these student athletes as well as universities. But as long as there's a continued 3 variables that are unsolvable, there is no solution to the problem.
And that is why those 30 things that he talked about, we all talked about the unlimited cap, unlimited transfer, unlimited eligibility. Those are the 3 things that the Protect College Sports Act is aiming to fix, and the SEC has not stood in opposition. They stand in opposition to the current form of the Protect College Sports Act. But as I understand it, there's a couple of variables that they want addressed, which is pooling of media rights and the inability of conferences to expand. You fix those 2 things, I think we could be on our way to having federal legislation. But I think it's also very important from LSU's perspective. Remember, Dr. Roos and Chairman Lee Mallett sent a letter publicly and why they stood in opposition to the Protect College Sports Act. And as I understand it, those conversations with the representatives and with Commissioner Sankey and Dr. Roos and the LSU representatives have continued on. And the things that LSU certainly want to have addressed within the Protect College Sports Act, I know one of the things in particular is a definition of the revenue opportunities for student athletes. Like there's NIL, there is rev share. Like what other revenue opportunities are there for these student athletes? And then also to make sure that whatever federal law is passed, that it will be upheld to where state law couldn't overtake that federal law. So you want to make sure that whatever you pass, and if there's any holes in the verbiage of the legislation, then this could all be a house of cards. So it's complex, and I know we're here and we want to talk football, but all these things are things that these coaches are talking about here, and we'll continue to talk about here this week as well. All right, it's After Further Review, y'all. Thanks so much to our great sponsors here, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Of course, Relief Windows, windows, door siding, shutters, and shades, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. They're the title sponsor for our Monday shows all throughout the year, but also helping us here. Rev Fiber, RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com, and Parish Construction and Roofing. I want to remind you that this Friday is the deadline to enter our fortified roof giveaway. 2 Louisiana homeowners are going to win a free fortified roof from Parish Construction and Roofing, 1 in the greater Baton Rouge area, 1 in the greater New Orleans area. So go to the website, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. You'll see the 2 shield logos, roof giveaway. One says Baton Rouge, one says New Orleans. Click whichever one applies to you and enter, and you can win. This Friday is the deadline to enter. We'll announce the winner next week, but deadline to enter is this Friday at parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back, and we will we'll put a button here on day 1, recap of the biggest takeaways from day 1, and we'll set the stage for day 2 here from Tampa, Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days 2026.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. You know what to do. Do what injured people in our state have done for 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, Gordon and his team, they help injured people in our state. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Get what you're entitled to. Get what you deserve to get your life back on track. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or if you'd prefer to talk to someone on the phone, you can do that as well. Just call the 888-8888, 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Hey, remember, I love telling you so much, not only about the ways that Gordon helps injured people, but the ways he obviously affects and contributes to, with the generosity for our community. If it's the G team, if it's the laptop giveaway around graduation, the bicycle giveaway around the holidays, so many ways that Gordon, through the Gordon Gives philanthropic arm, helps our communities. So you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Raising Cane's is raising $1 million on National Chicken Finger Day for Chuck's Charity Kickstart Kids. Join us July 27th and help us continue Chuck Norris's legacy.
Chuck was a personal friend of Todd and the brand, and I know this would have meant the world to him.
Here on the Gulf Coast, a wave says a lot. It says hello. It says thanks. It says we care. Shouldn't banking feel the same way? A friendly wave. A familiar face, backed by all the convenient tools you need to make banking a breeze. We're Gulf Coast Bank and Trust. Give us a wave and coast into better banking.
You see what you're looking for.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official.
I got awesome news. Amigo Owls is now live on the third-party delivery sites. So Uber Eats, DoorDash. You've heard me talk about Amigo Owls. This is Brandon and Mackenzie Landry, right? We talk about Supper Club every day here on the show. But you know Brandon founded Walk-Ons and Small Sliders. Well, why would Amigo Owls be any different when we talk about successful restaurant, food service businesses and the highest quality ingredients, delicious and a great concept? Amigo Owls is delicious, upscale Mexican with the freshest ingredients, so you know you're going to get a quality product. They're in St. Gabriel, so if you're going south on Airline Highway, Highway 30, you're going south leaving LSU, you pass U Club, about a quarter mile on the left, you'll see the big yellow truck right there. You'll see Amigo Owls. Delicious, great spot for lunch. But remember, if you don't live in that area and you want delivery, they'll bring it to you. Just punch up DoorDash or Uber Eats for Amigo Owls and try it tonight for dinner. It's Amigo Owls right there on Highway 30. It's Amigo Owls.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR. Monday show is presented by Relief Windows. Putting a button on day one where it was Oklahoma, Tennessee, Missouri, and Kentucky taking their turns throughout radio. We spent a good chunk of the show today talking about Oklahoma because of the teams that were here today. Oklahoma, who started the day, really feels like the contender among the group. And one of my takeaways coming out of this week may very well be that I'm a bigger believer in Oklahoma than I might have even thought. And I think John Mateer still has a good amount to prove. He's obviously a very productive quarterback at Washington State. The expectation when he went with Ben Arbuckle from Pullman to Norman a year ago was that they would be seamless. And after a month of the season, it felt like John Mateer, of course they beat Michigan in Norman, it felt like John Mateer was the front runner for the Heisman. He injured his hand, returned against Texas, maybe prematurely. They kicked a couple of field goals in that game, and the offense never got in gear. They were triple digits in rushing offense a year ago. They were near the bottom of the rankings in total offense in the country. But the defense was outstanding and carried them. So can Oklahoma run the football, generate more offense, which you should be able to do with an athletic quarterback like Mateer? The problem for Oklahoma is the schedule, but that was a giant point today. And so many people have pointed to that week two trip to Michigan. That's something Brent Venables talked about today, was going on the road week 2 to Ann Arbor.
I've never been to Michigan, and I know the challenge of it. I know they won the national championship just a few short years ago, and they've recruited incredibly well. I'm really looking forward to that trip. Just as a longtime loyalist and traditionalist to the game of football, the history, tradition there takes a backseat to nobody, and so that part of it's cool. But it's not a nostalgic trip. This is a business trip, and you got a championship staff in Michigan, and what Coach has done there is again second to none. And again, they got a fantastic roster. We saw it up close and personal in Norman. Got tremendous challenge. They have some new coaches, so new what changes that new schemes, and probably some surprises along the way as well. And but something we're really looking forward to.
can you win week 2 at Michigan? They open up against UTEP, so it's their layup before they go to Michigan. Then they come home against New Mexico, and they'll need that breather because then they go to Georgia. So you're at Michigan, at Georgia in the first month. And then after you play at Georgia, a week later, you're playing we get an open date, and then you're playing Texas in the neutral site game. And after that, you exhale. It's Kentucky, at Mississippi State, South Carolina. At Florida, we'll see how good Summerall's Gators are. That'll be November the 7th. And then you finish with home game against Ole Miss, home game against A&M, at Missouri. I'm not saying any of those are a given, but I look at the schedule and I go, okay, at Michigan, at Georgia, neutral site against Texas. If you don't handle your business in those 3, win out, you're 9-3. And 9-3 is not going to be good enough to get you in the playoff, which is why that game against Michigan becomes paramount. You get the game against Michigan, then you can go 6-2 in the conference and feel like you can make the college football playoff. Lose that game against Michigan, and you basically have to be an 8-1 team in conference in a 9-game schedule, meaning you've got, obviously, at Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, A&M, and you only have 1 game to play with there. So you leave yourself no margin. See if they can make it through. All right, it is after further review. We're putting a button here on day number 1 of SEC Football Media Days. And we appreciate so much y'all for hanging out with us, and we appreciate our great sponsors for making this happen. As we mentioned, Parish Construction and Roofing, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Rev Fiber, and Relief Windows. So Rivers Huey here on site producing, doing an awesome job. We're so grateful. Muse Pauly back in studio. Thanks for the great work y'all are doing as well. So tomorrow, day 2, Auburn and Georgia start the day. Georgia is going to have championship expectations this year. I think most people are going to pick Georgia, Texas to make the SEC championship game. But Auburn, Georgia to start the day. And then in the afternoon when we're on air, South Carolina and Vanderbilt will be taking their turn. We'll have it all covered starting with Off the Bench in the morning, Hunt Palmer, and we'll take you home here on AFR. We will see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Getting on down the road, remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEye.com. So remember, eye care, eyewear, eye surgery, they do all 3. They're a full-service optical shop. So you need your annual eye exam, Williamson Eye Center. If you wear contacts or glasses, you need that prescription updated, you need to go buy your contacts or glasses, Williamson Eye Center. Or if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. LASIK, PRK, custom lens replacement, EVO ICL. That's the implantable contact lens. That's an alternative to LASIK. Maybe you've been told, maybe you're nearsighted, but you're not a candidate for LASIK. EVO ICL could be the option. The bottom line is you got to start with that consultation so you can change your life, wake up in the morning, and see. Williamson Eye Center makes that happen every day. WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.